We are live from Legacy Field in Crown Point, Indiana, as the Lake County Corn Dogs are back home before their break over this weekend against the Chicago American Giants. Andrew Miles with you. We're happy to have you back at Crown Point, as this is probably one of the best crowds we've had. It is jam-packed from line to line, even down the right field line. There's some fans watching, as they'll get to watch the very tall 6'10" right-handed pitcher, Peyton Olenek, pitch for the Corn Dogs today. Olenek has only made one start this year, and when he made the start, this was against the Joliet Generals. And his appearance for that game, Olenek had a 3 ERA after the start, as he went 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, but he had struck out 8. Opponent batting average is just in 100. And the problem with his start is that Olenek had developed a blister on his ring finger on his right hand. And today, we were happy to see him, as he's really a hard guy to miss when he is 6'10", and he has some really good ride to his fastball. Again, really, the story behind Peyton Olenek is his ability to create spin on all the pitches that he throws. As when he was in the Prospect League, he was pitching out in West Virginia with the West Virginia Black Bears, and out of all of the fastballs in that league, he had the best spin rate amongst any other pitcher. He has a spin rate of 2,678.8 RPMs. So that means he's going to get a lot of ride on his fastball and throw for a pretty decent velocity. He's starting his warm-ups now after the first pitch from the 10U Crown Point team. And they're going to be taking on the American Giants today. The American Giants, you can't sleep on them. They are 5-27-1 on the season. But just 2 days ago, they were in Oil City and left nothing to the imagination of the game, as they blew out the Oilmen by a final score of 11-0. It was their first shutout this year and their largest margin of victory. And the Oilmen, they said that's the largest defeat they've ever had as a franchise, not just this season alone. So even though their record, it was just 5 wins where they just snapped an 11-game losing streak, this is a team you can't sleep on going into the game. Let's look at the defensive alignment for the Lake County Corn Dogs. We'll start in the outfield, going from left to right. It is Scott Hansen patrolling left field. Gavin Terry is in center, and Hayden Matulich is in right field. Cal Curiel will be playing third base. Schultz is at short. Colin Small is at second. Donovan Nanfelt returns. He's at first base. And the battery mate for Peyton Olenek in this appearance is Jaden Deal. The first pitch is a good fastball in the inner portion of the plate, called strike one, and that's how we start off our day, as we start at 6:56, 4 minutes early. The sun is setting off to our right. Here's the 0-1. And this is shot into center field. It is slowly falling, and it will drop in front of Gavin Terry as Trey Walker picks up a single to start today's ball game. He let that fastball come in, and he punched it right back up the middle. And for Trey Walker, he came in with a 281 average. So he will pick up a couple ticks on that clip, as that was his 8th hit this year. But plenty of walks. Joshua Carter, the shortstop, is the new batter. Runner on the move. Deal's going to throw it down the second base. Small cannot get him. This is a team that likes to steal the bases. There was a game earlier this year against the Oilmen, not the game 2 days ago, where they had, I believe it was 7 stolen bases. There's a lot of speed on this American Giants team trying to create runs. The 1-0 pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. A fastball blown right by Carter, and it's 1-1. Olenek is from Triton Junior College. He pitched against South Suburban Junior College, so a lot of the players on the Corn Dogs have seen Olenek pitch. Noble and Hansen were 2 of them in that lineup. The 1-1, that is a little low, 2-1. And coincidentally, in that start from Olenek, he took on a Lake County Corn Dog. That was Jimmy Burke in that start. Olenek went just a couple of innings before he got pulled, and then South Suburban came back to win the game. The 2-1, and he said he went. Home plate umpire said that Carter did not hold up his swing, and that is strike 2. Not sure what you can do against a good fastball like that at the top of the zone, especially when you haven't seen that type of heat all season long. Olenek works on that first base side, and time is called. Again, the tallest MLB pitcher, it's been a three-way tie amongst them at 6'11". One of them being Randy Johnson, most notable of the three, as he dominated Major League Baseball. 2-2, and it's a ground ball to the left. Curry out, the third baseman's there. He's going to fire across the diamond. 9 felt stretches, and he's safe. Infield single by Joshua Carter as Cal Curriel let that baseball come to him instead of attacking it, and allows Carter to get on first base. Back-to-back hits to start the day for the Chicago American Giants. Josh Williams will now step up to the plate with runners on first and second, and yet no outs. Corn Dogs looking for a double play here. Right now it's just been the speed of the American Giants, and the swing and a miss. Fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. From what I saw in his last appearance, Olenek has a fastball, a slider, and then a changeup. If you mix them all, it'd be a very good D1 prospect. He set at the belt, long pause, he delivers, and that is just off the outside edge, and it's 1-1 to Williams. American Giants played yesterday against the Vikings, in which they only played 7 innings and lost by a final score of 14-2. So they only allowed 10 hits of the 14 runs scored, so that had to be a lot of walks. Here's the pitch, and that one's out. There was 12 walks issued by the American Giants yesterday. You add on the 10 hits for the Vikings, that's a very good ratio for Southland, who's trying to catch the Corn Dogs for first place. They're 4 games behind them. They have tonight off. Runner is on the move. Swing and a miss. Deal goes down the third. Carroll plays a tag, and he's safe. A double steal by the American Giants. That is now 3 stolen bases in this inning. 2 by Walker, who's on third base. So 2 runners in scoring position for the heart of the order. Williams and Olenek are evened out at 2-2 with Jaden Cummings on deck. An even count. There's no outs yet. Olenek trying to work his way around some trouble here as he delivers break-even pitch, and that is a swing and a miss, as it was a check swing that broke, and Williams is the first strikeout. And that came at a really big time, as the American Giants have 2 runners in scoring position, and at least you got 1 out. Nanfelt and Curriel are playing about even with the bag, so if a ball is hit to them, it's a good chance they'll go home. Anything up the middle, the Corn Dogs will most likely just take the out at first base, as it's early in the ball game. They'll get opportunities at the plate to try to chip away at the lead. They'll face off against Jaden Jones in the bottom of the first. Ball in the dirt, backhanded by Deal, 1-0. This is the day I would not want to be a catcher, as I'm assuming that after every good fastball from Olenek, Jaden Deal's hand is absolutely ringing. Might be red after every inning. Their pitch, that's up and in. Wow. 2-0. That came in hot. And Jaden Cummings got out of the way. And he is ahead 2-0 against Olenek, the right-handed pitcher for the Lake County Corn Dogs today. Corn Dogs coming in this game 26-9 after 11-8 victory last night in White, Indiana against the Oilmen. Here's the pitch. That's right down the middle for strike 1. 2-1. 1 out. As the Corn Dogs have won back-to-back games. They won the game 2 days ago, 14-8, in which Roman Kuntz hit 3 home runs. He's not in the lineup today. Here's the 2-1. And the swing and a miss. There's the slider. It's the first time we've seen it. And you saw right there, the RPM really played a factor. It looked like a fastball for most of the time, and then it just snapped off. It was a Snapdragon slider, and Cummings swung right through it. It's 2-2. Looking for back-to-back strikeouts after back-to-back singles from Chicago. Has put them in a spot where they could score the first run of the game. Break even. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 10 strikeouts on the season for Olenek, as he had 2 in his last start. And hopefully that blister has finally gone away, as Olenek has not thrown a pitch for the Corn Dogs for quite some time. Again, he's only made 1 start this year, before that blister acted up. Leslie's the hitter. He's a designated hitter today. And that's a slider. It's off the at-bat. 0-1. If you can throw for a really good velocity and locate it, I don't know if too many teams are going to have too much luck against this very tall right-handed pitcher. Time is called after Deal and Olenek could not agree on what pitch to go to here, and at some point Leslie just wanted to call time. I think I just saw it the other day. There was a hitter in the major leagues that I think it was Sam Huff of the Rangers for quite some time didn't call time when the pitcher was just holding on to the baseball. 1-1 now after that slider missed. Olenek's last start was all the way back on June 28th, so he hasn't thrown a pitch for the Corn Dogs in almost a whole month. And that one's a little bit low. Deal's not even sure where it was, as he assumed it was a strike. He transferred the baseball to his throwing hand and stopped and looked back at the home plate umpire. And if it missed anywhere, it might have been just a little bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Here comes the right-hander. And there's a swing and a miss from Leslie, 2-2. Now, all of a sudden, Olenek is 1 strike away from stranding 2 runners to start off his day and strike out the side. Let's see if he can do it right here against Leslie. He's peering over the glove, John Lester style for you Cub fans, the way he would always set up out of the stretch. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Here is Olenek. That is a good pitch. It's snapped out of the strike zone, 3-2. Even Jaden Deal gave him the nod of approval. Even pointed through the glove there. And it's a 3-2 pitch now. American Giants and Corn Dogs, only 1 game left on the ledger for today. It's the Generals and the Oilmen, the battle for 3rd place. Payoff. Ground ball to the left. Correal can't get it as it took a hop. 1 run scores. They're going to hold the runner at 3rd, and it's 1-0 as that's the 3rd hit in the inning for Chicago, and they've captured the lead. Now Zach Leslie is the hitter. 3-2, just try to get a fastball over the plate, and Colin Leslie ropes one in the left as it just hit the lip. And Correal stood no chance because it just jumped over his glove and went its way into Scott Hansen in left. Strike right down the middle to start the at-bat to Zach Leslie. So Collins on first and Zach's at the plate. They're batting back-to-back. So try to clarify that as much as possible. Luckily, one's just a DH. The other one will be in the field. Zach Leslie... Actually, it's Colin Leslie who will be the catcher, and Zach Leslie is the designated hitter. So I got that mixed up. 1 run already in for the American Giants. They're threatening with the runner on 3rd. That's Joshua Carter. And Colin Leslie, who scored the first run, is going to be on the move. The pitch, it's a grounder to Schultz. Schultz is going to be a tough play. He picks up, fires the first. Nanfeld stretches, and they got him. Great play by Tyler Schultz to prevent a run from scoring. But the American Giants score 1 run on 3 hits and no Corn Dogs errors. We'll go to the bottom of the first. American Giants 1, Corn Dogs coming up as you're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the first inning for the Lake County Corn Dogs. They have to now respond after a 1 run was scored by the American Giants. And we'll give you the Purdue Federal Credit Union starting lineup for the Lake County Corn Dogs, as they are a proud sponsor of your Corn Dogs this season. Leading off, playing shortstop, Tyler Schultz. Colin Small, who's up the middle with them, is batting second. Mathai is batting third. He's a designated hitter. Hayden Matulich is the cleanup hitter today. He's out in right field. Scott Hansen batting fifth out in left. Gavin Terry's batting sixth for the first time, and maybe in his entire career, will be in center field. Ball one. Jaden Deal batting seventh behind the plate. Nansfeld batting eighth. He's at first base. And rounding out the lineup for Kyle Hallberg's Corn Dogs today is Cal Curiel. Here's the pitch, and that's a called strike, 1-1, against Jaden Jones, who has pitched 22 and 2/3 innings this year. He's allowed 34 hits, 27 runs, 23 of them have been earned. He has a 9.13 ERA on the year. This is his first start against the Corn Dogs. Schultz lifts one to the right. Going out is Cummings. Walker coming in from right field. He will call off his second baseman and secure it for the first out. One away. Colin Small, who's batting second, will now come up. Colin Small batted second yesterday, but that's not where he started. He actually started on the bench, and Donovan Noble had to come out of the game. And because Donovan Noble has just returned from injury as of late, here's the pitch. It's a strike, 0-1. So they're just trying to be precautionary with him, not put too much on that leg until he's 100% ready to go. But Colin Small plays some great defense at second base and hit a baseball hard to center, but it was tagged. But it was caught for the third out of that inning. That was yesterday. 0-2 now to Small. It's Kyle Hallberg, as he wrote the lineup and put it up. He yelled that he was going to change it up today, have some fun. As his team's trying to win their third straight game. 0-2. That's up and in. 1-2 to Colin Small. Small, a couple days ago, actually had 2 hits against the Crestwood Panthers. And one of them was an RBI double down the left field line. Here's the pitch, and he swings and misses. Ball gets past Leslie behind the plate. He'll pick it up, throw it to first, and they got Small by a step. Small is a casualty of a swinging strikeout, and then it's 2-3 to complete the out, and there are 2 gone. And that will send up Brett Mathies. Mathies has been on a bit of a streak as of late. He has been on base in 13 straight games at home. So hit one off to left towards the parking lot, nothing in one. If you see some fans stand up, making sure that there's no baseball going through one of their windshields, and it's 0-1. Is Jaden Jones trying to go for a 1-2-3 inning. Here's his pitch. Mathies fouls one off to the left again, but it stays in play, and it goes right in front of Hayden Matulich, who's on deck, and it is 0-2. Jaden Jones got a fly out to right and a strikeout this inning. He goes into his windup. Here's his pitch, and a breaking ball will stay up to Mathies, and it's 1-2. Brett Mathies, a former Times Player of the Year, pitched in the state championship game. Asked him about it yesterday because he played a certain player as he hits one in the center field. Williams is coming in, and he does not have a play. Extend that on-base streak to 14 straight games here at Legacy Field as Mathies gets the first hit of the game. And let's see if Hayden Matulich can now get a hit and extend this inning.
Now batting number 32, Hayden Super Matulich.
And for Mathies, he also 19 straight games where he's gotten on base. Is Hayden Matulich is batting a .351 on the season. He had a RBI double yesterday against the Oilmen that drove in a run. That's inside 1-0. And when I talked to Mathies, they said that a friend of mine was showing Colson Montgomery, the last year's first-round pick by the Chicago White Sox, who's from Indiana, played him in the state championship game, and I asked him how that went. And he said, I got the fielder's choice, that's down and away 2-0, against Montgomery. We was able to leg it out the first, but he said, we also intentionally walked him twice. he goes, technically he's batting a 0 against me because he went 0 for 1. And he goes, if they're intentional walks, it's not on me either. As Montgomery and his high school team went on to win the state championship in that game. I believe that was 2A between Montgomery's team and Mathias's Hanover Central squad. Matulich is ahead in the count, 2-0, with Mathias standing on first base. Hayden Matulich has really had a nice turnaround lately, and that's actually ball 4. One of them was not marked on the scoreboard. It's at 2-0, but that was ball 4, and the inning continues for a red-hot Scott Hansen. Scott Hansen in his last 3 games has collected 8 hits, and his average has gone up to a .299, so he's 1 hit away from batting .300 on the season. Hansen yesterday came in the 5th inning, but he had 3 plate appearances where he had 2 hits and a walk. He also stole a base and scored in a run. He takes a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Corn Dogs have a runner in scoring position for the first time today. After 2 quick outs, the Corn Dogs have something going. So really the opposite with the American Giants in the top of the first. They got 2 runners on early, then 2 outs before they clutch hit by Leslie. But now the Corn Dogs trying to score the first run and tie this game. Ball in the dirt, great block by Colin Leslie behind the plate. Make sure the Corn Dogs don't get free 90 feet. And it is 1-1 to Hansen. Hansen's been extremely happy how he's performed recently, and we've got a 6-game hitting streak going. He hits one to the right side. It's going to be gloved by Jaden Cummings. He'll flip it to first, and Gazillo came off the bag and had to apply the tag to get Hansen. The Corn Dogs, strand 2, will go to the second with the American Giants leading it 1-0 from Legacy Fields. American Giants side of the second inning. Andrew Mild with you as the American Giants jumped out to a 1-0 lead after a big hit from Colin Leslie drove in Trey Walker. And due up this inning is the bottom of the order, Kazio, Horn, and Gladden. The first pitch misses 1-0 as it was 2 hits by the American Giants that set the table for them to steal 3 bases and then finally scored on a 2-out hit from Leslie after back-to-back Ks of Williams and Cummings. Coming to the plate is Olenek, and he misses up 2-0. So Olenek trying to settle down here. One of the hits wasn't his fault. Curiel let the baseball play him and just couldn't throw out Joshua Carter after he would wait on the baseball to come to him. And Kazio takes a big cut and he misses. He was a tad bit late on it, and it is 2-1. The Corn Dogs game yesterday, it was their 9th straight road win, which is the longest streak this season, 3-1 now. And it's quite interesting because then you look at the longest losing streaks on the road, and the Corn Dogs are actually in second for that. They had lost 4 straight road games and finally won one, and then have really flipped it around. Their record on the road was 2-5. That's a strike. Kazio thought it was ball 4, but it hit that outside corner for the second strike, and it is 3-2. But now the Corn Dogs have built a very respectable 11-5 record when they head away from Legacy Fields this season. Here's the payoff pitch, and Kazio swings and misses. That is strike number 3. Olenek, he has now strike out 3 hitters today, and that's how he'll start off the top of the second inning before Drew Horn steps up to the plate. And then on deck is Mike Gladden, and that rounds out the lineup for the American Giants this afternoon. First pitch is a slider, 1-0. For Chicago fans, the Cubs and the Sox will play their first game since the All-Star break concluded. The Cubs are in Philadelphia visiting old friend Kyle Schwarber. Sox are at home against the Guardians, 2-0 now to Horn. The 2 fastballs stay up in the zone. And both games are on Apple TV, so if you don't have that, you might be in trouble. And Drew Horn is in 3 games this year, 364 average, 4 hits and 11 at-bats. He has 1 RBI. 2-0 pitch, and he's way late on the heater. It's 2-1. Horn is batting 8th today. He's playing the hot corner against the Corn Dogs team that not only have they been able to turn it around while on the road, but also in the fielding department. Swing and a miss. Good slider, 2-2. Where the Corn Dogs have the best fielding percentage this season, which is just 1 tick higher than the Vikings. Corn Dogs at 951 fielding percentage. The Vikings at 950. 52 errors, which is the least amount, and it's a swing and a miss. Count them up, 4 Ks through an inning and 2/3, all of them by the swinging variety. And actually, we were wrong on Drew Horn's stats as he's being recorded twice. The one says he's batting at 364, the other one at 267, so a drastic difference there. But I'm thinking that the 264 is the most accurate one. It says 9 games, 30 at-bats, 8 hits, and he just struck out for the 9th time this year. Gladden is the new hitter here. He's batting 9th. It's a 1-0 count. 2 gone. Bases are empty, and that's low. 2-0 is Olenek having a hard time keeping his cap on his head. And for a while there, the Corn Dogs really going back to the part on the defense. The defense had struggled immensely. Made just a lot of errors, and sometimes in crucial times. The pitch. I remember the game in Oil City, the first one this year. It was a home opener for the Oilmen where there was an error committed and it allowed the Oilmen to ultimately win the game because the tying run had scored on the error. The 3-0 pitch, and that's a strike. Gladden was taken all the way there. There was no doubt. Never took the bat off the shoulder. It is 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 gone. Corn Dogs looking for a 1-2-3 inning before they go back in the bottom of the second inning. And that is a miss, and it's ball 4. So that'll flip us back to the top of the order of the American Giants with Trey Walker, who didn't hit a baseball too hard in his last at-bat, but hit the straightaway center as Gavin Terry was playing way back and tried to move in and make the play, but instead it dropped right in front of him. Walker stole 2 bases after that and then came around the score on the single. He's the only person to cross the plate in the ball game today thus far. And he takes a strike. Walker, 281 average, but he picked up a hit, so that'll go up a little bit. It was his 17th hit this year. And now he's scored 8 times. Runner on the move. Deal has no play. And that was a very awkward slide by Gladden. He almost scorpioned as he hit the dirt hard and then popped up. The legs came up just slightly. And that is now 4 stolen bases for the American Giants. 1-1's the count. Something you don't want to do is allow the American Giants to run right over you. It's a team that doesn't hit for a whole lot of power, but they're going to try and steal as many bases as they can. As we look at it, the American Giants came into this game leading in the league with 89 stolen bases. Second place was the Vikings at 88. So it was a close race, but they've already picked up 4. That is a really good slider. That's strike 2. You see how it snaps off, and the hitters really can't do much about it. 1-2. Olenek's trying to strike out the side and pick up his 5th through 2 innings of work. Long pause. Here's the pitch. And that another slider is snapped off. Walker swings right through it, and that is the 3rd strike. Mike Gladden gets a walk. He's trying to that second. Olenek strikes out the side. He has 5 through 2 innings. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Giants 1, Corn Dogs nothing. As you're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Gavin Terry will lead off, and yes, Gavin Terry leads off, batting 6th today as the Corn Dogs stranded 2 runners off a Scott Hansen ground ball as Terry swings and misses at the first pitch. Is Terry batting a .366 average, which is the best qualifying average on the team. And he's only .009 behind Gargoni of the Panthers, who's leading at .375. Terry takes one down and away, ball 1. But I'm willing to bet, if I'm right about this, he has the best qualifying on-base percentage this year, where he's very close. He hits one off a home plate and is going to go foul for strike 2. He's 512 OBP, which is best on the team, and that's in 123 plate appearances. So if you're getting on base more than half the time in 123 plate appearances, you're having a pretty good season. Especially when he's been batting leadoff or second. This is the first time he's batted lower than that. He chokes up on the bat. Here's the pitch. And he hits one down the right field line. Trey Walker won't get there. And Doug Loden is going to send Terry to second. He's going to slide in, and he's safe. He does a little chop when he gets to second. And that is a leadoff double for Gavin Terry. Some good speed already sending at second base. And for Terry, that's 6 doubles on the season. Doesn't hit for a whole lot of power, but he got a hanging curveball that on its way to the plate just screamed, "Hit me." And Terry just turned on it, put the barrel on the baseball, and found it going down the right field line. That is now 3 straight games with a hit for Gavin Terry. So he had 2 hits yesterday against the Oilmen, and then 2 hits against the Panthers on the 20th. Jaden deals the batter. He fouls one straight back. As you see the camera now jolt to its right. Had a perfect shot, and now it's not so perfect. But as you got a good view of the right side of the infield, you won't see anything past third base. But that's why you have a broadcaster, to tell you what is going on if you can't see. Deal's got a runner on second. It's being held on by Jaden Cummings. And Deal's going to call time after a long pause between these two teams. Corn Dogs are 5-0 against the American Giants this season. As going into yesterday's game, the Corn Dogs had 25 wins and somehow perfectly evened it out between all 5 teams across the league. Jaden Deal hits one down the right field line in foul territory, and it's going to go out of play past the hybrid bullpen/batting cage of the American Giants, and it is 0-2 to Deal.
Bring those foul balls back to the concession stand.
So the Corn Dogs had 5 wins against the Oilmen, American Giants, Panthers, Vikings, and Generals. And now it looks as though Leslie's glove might have broke. He took the glove off, and he's communicating to Gino Cazillo, the first baseman. And now he's going to head back to his dugout and see if he can find a new piece of leather. As you just can't go up there with any other type of glove. And, yeah, he's going to need a new catcher's glove. Looks like that might have been his brother giving him the new glove. That is Colin Leslie, and it was Zach Leslie that handed him the new glove. Hopefully this one doesn't break, because I can't imagine there's going to be more than 2 catcher's gloves in that first base dugout. Is all sort of different gloves in baseball. You have the first baseman's glove that's a little bit wider, has a deeper pocket. They're going to throw a pitch to Leslie to check on the glove, and the glove seems to be okay. The catcher's glove's a little bit different, a little bit more compact. A outfielder's glove that has longer fingers so you can jump up and catch the baseball. And then the middle infield and the third baseman have smaller gloves as they have to try to transfer the baseball from their throwing hand quickly. 0-2 to Jaden Deal. Terry's at second base. They're going to check on Terry. Terry was leaning, but Cummings was going back to his position to his left, closer to first base, just in case that the ball was hit to that side. Jaden Deal's had a couple of days off. It's battle of the Jadens right now. Jaden Deal and Jaden Jones, the pitcher for the American Giants. He's ahead 0-2. He's set at the belt. Long pause. Here's his pitch. And Deal hits one in the air, right side. Cummings is going out. Walker is coming in, and it's going to be Cummings that makes the play, drifting to the shallow right field grass, and Deal is the first out. Just underneath it, a little bit late, popped up to the right side, and Jones is one step away from getting 2 outs. That's going to bring up Donovan Nanfelt, who Nanfelt is batting a .224 this season, where he has 7 RBIs, but he's worked a lot of walks, 17 walks for a nice OBP of 389, or actually a 416. Ball 1. Nanfelt has had a couple of games where he's just gotten walked a ton. I think earlier this month he had a game where he had maybe 3 plate appearances, but never saw one cross the strike zone. 1-0 is the count. And it is a ball called, as it just was up and away, 2-0 from Jones, who's trying to work his way around a leadoff double from Gavin Terry. But for Donovan Nanfelt, just trying to see what game that was. Yeah, it was against the Panthers in the 5-4 victory. 0-for-0 with 4 walks. Hits one down the right field line, an absolute screamer, but it'll go out of play, 2-1. It's kind of interesting to see what his on-base percentage did after that. It was a .407 going into the game. It went to a .448. 4 walks will do that for you. That was on June 29th. So looking for his first hit in the second half of the year. He played against the Generals in the 7-4 loss. He went 0-for-2 with 2 walks and 1 strikeout. Likes to go the opposite way, stay back in the baseball, shoot it that direction, and he'll take a changeup for strike 2. Now Jones is 1 strike away from 2 outs after the leadoff double from Terry. Terry has been busy over at second base. He's been held on by Cummings. You can't see the spray chart for Nanfelt. If that was the case, I'm assuming that Carter will be holding him on instead of Cummings, as the right side is very inviting for Nanfelt. The pitch, and it's a swing and a miss, a ball in the dirt. They're going to tag him out. That's the second strikeout by Jones, and there's 2 gone. The Corn Dogs may see a leadoff double be spoiled by some excellent pitching from Jaden Jones. But if you're going to come up with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, might as well send up the cardiac kid, Cal Curiel. Curiel played in yesterday's game, in which he went 0 for 3, but he worked a walk and had a sacrifice bunt. He did score on the 2-out error late in the game, ball 1 to Curiel. As Curiel is the last batter to come up to the plate before the Corn Dogs will head back to the top of the order with Tyler Schultz, as this is a very different lineup. I think the only player that's batted in a spot they're used to might be Mathies and Nanfelt. 2 gone, runner on second base. That's a tying run Terry, as we'll get a look from Jaden Jones. Early in the year, Gavin Terry had led the league in stolen bases and held that for a long time, but teams have been well aware of what Terry can do on the base pass. They've been holding him on very closely, and Peter Fusick from the Panthers have taken the lead. Broken bat grounder to Cummings, who will just throw it over this first base. And they get Curiel, and after a leadoff double by the Corn Dogs, they cannot capitalize and score. We'll go to the third, 1-0 in favor of the American Giants, as you're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Corn Dogs have stranded 3 runners through 2 innings, and they're coming to the third with Peyton O'Lennox still pitching, who face off against Carter, Williams, and Cummings. And before we get the inning started, let's tell you about Robin Salzdeer with that Properties. And she is a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Whether you're purchasing a new home or selling the one you currently own, Robin specializes in obtaining the best price in Northwest Indiana. Call her today at 312-671-0034. That's 312-671-0034. The pitch misses for ball 1 to start the third inning of play. American Giants are holding on to a slim 1-0 lead after some great pitching from Jaden Jones. The pitch is a strike. Paints the outside corner. 1-0 Williams. This is Joshua Carter. Carter is 1 for 1 in the game. He also stole a base. And he swings and misses. 1-2. See if Olenek can pick up another strikeout. Here's his delivery, and he gets a swing and a miss, but actually it's a foul ball. It's a foul ball as it deflected off the leg of Jaden Deal. I thought maybe it was going to be a drop third strike, which could have led to a very interesting play because the ball was going up the left field line, in which Cal Curiel was closer to the ball than anyone. But for Carter, .364 average, and that gone up after his infield single. That's comforting for the American Giants. He's on 17 for his first 45 this year. He has 7 doubles and 1 home run. His OBP is also 455 and a nice OPS of 1.046. Anything above a 1 is phenomenal. That's usually the average in the major leagues, and that's when they can tell if it's a good hitter or a great hitter.
Ground crew, lights please. Lights please.
Let's look around the league. There's only one more game going on tonight. The pitch, and that's a good pitch just off the corner. Got Carter thinking about it, and it's 2-2. The Oilmen lead 2-0 against the Generals in the top of the second inning. Break-even pitch, and it's low, 3-2. Had the run of a changeup, but it worked down low, and it was a good take by Carter, as Carter has some good speed. Don't want to get him on base, especially to lead off the third inning when you're playing from behind. Payoff, and it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Goes back to the slider, and for Olenek, he now has 6 strikeouts in this appearance, just looking for some run support from his Corn Dogs teammates.
Josh Williams.
As the Oilmen scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first with just 1 hit. It looked like there was a couple of walks that allowed the Oilmen to capitalize. The pitch, and it's a swing and a miss from Williams, 0-1. As those two teams go into this matchup, just a half a game difference between the Oilmen and the Generals. As the Oilmen are 19-17 after yesterday's loss, and the Generals are 18-17. And if you haven't checked the scoreboard in yesterday's slate of games, called Strike 0-2, you missed the slugfest that was the Generals and Panthers. Final score of 23-20. Yeah, that's right, 23-20, 0-2. That's up and away, 1-2. As there was 39 hits in total in the game and only 3 errors. The Generals, their first 4 hitters had 3 hits or more. So that is 13 hits, and that is an awkward swing and a miss, and that is strike 3. I'm pretty sure the young kids call that a sword. And Williams is down on strikes for the second time. 7 strikeouts now, as Olenek is now 1 strikeout away from matching his season total, as the lights are now coming on. But then you look to the other side, and 8 of the 9 hitters in the lineup for the Panthers had 2 hits or more. Swing and a miss, 0-1 against Jaden Cummings. And there was the 5th inning where there was 23 runs scored in total, 9 by the Generals and 14 by the Panthers. 0-1 pitch. That's down low, 1-1. And if you score 14 runs in 1 inning and lose, that can be a rough day afterwards. But the most interesting part about it is even after all the runs have been scored, the Generals were still 1 run behind the most this season, which was by the Corn Dogs, as Cummings wasn't happy with that strike call. 1-2 is now the count with 2 outs. But the Corn Dogs scored 24 runs against the Vikings on the road. That's just down low, maybe off the plate slightly. 2-2 with 2 outs and the base is empty. Only looking at for strikeout number 8, and which if he does, it'll be back-to-back innings where he struck out the side. Here's his pitch. And did he go? They're going to check. And somehow, some way, Cummings was able to hold up. It's 3-2. But with the Generals win and the Oilmen loss, we'll see if the standings get rearranged. As we'll see how that game goes, as the Oilmen will look up to go up a game and a half on the Generals. And that is ball 4. Olenek loses them. Cummings works a walk. He'll now be over at first base. And will extend the inning for Leslie, who has the only RBI in the game, as he hit a hard ground ball to the left side that hit the lip where the grass and the dirt meet. And it instantly took a leap, as Kyle Correa had no chance to make the play as he dove for it. But the way that ball just jumped and went over him and into left field to allow Trey Walker to cross the plate. The Corn Dogs will meet the Generals on Monday. That doubleheader is on the road, and Carroll Streams runner on the move. There's a strike. Deal throws down the second. This is going to be high, and another stolen base for the American Giants. There's no secret what they try to do every time, and the way that Olenek works down the mound, he has such long legs that it takes him a long time to get down there, and the American Giants are taking advantage of it as they have now swiped 5 bags in this game. And now have a run in scoring position with 2 outs. Let's see if Leslie can pick up his second RBI in this matchup. The Corn Dogs just have a few weeks left in the season. Here's the 0-1. And the called strike, 0-2. As the Corn Dogs came into this game, 4 games up on Southland. If they win it, they'd go up 4.5 games. And the magic number for a playoff spot officially is it's all but locked up unless the Corn Dogs have a complete meltdown at the end of the year, which I can't imagine happen, is 4. For the regular season championship, it's 10. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3, no doubt. It was right down the middle. Leslie just could not pull the trigger. Strike out the side for Peyton Olenek. He now has 8 Ks and has doubled his total to 16 on the year. We're through 2.5. It's the American Giants 1. And the Corn Dogs trying to come back as they have no runs on the board. Bottom of the 3rd inning. And let's tell you about Athletico Physical Therapy, who's a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs. We treat you, not just your injury. Visit athletico.com to book your appointment today. Backcourt Bar and Beverage Services can handle every type of event, from venues to weddings to indoor and outdoor parties. Visit bcbarcatering.com. Let's start planning the perfect event for you. Colonial Life is also a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs. Keep unexpecting. Life is anything but expected. Ain't that true? Including our approach to employee benefits. Visit coloniallife.com to learn more today. That's coloniallife.com. Back to the top of the order for the Corn Dogs with Schultz, Small, and Mathies, as Schultz in his last at-bat flew out to right field. He's just got underneath a fastball from Jones and made it an easy play for Trey Walker. Here's the first pitch in the bottom of the 3rd, and it will miss upstairs 1-0. Tyler Schultz in yesterday's game lined a base hit off the left field wall against the Oilmen, but went for a single because of it being a short porch down the left field line, just 300, and he hit the ball so hard that it hit the wall, bounced back, and the left fielder picked it up and fired it in before Schultz can even think about going to second. That's ball 3. 3-0 to Schultz. He's way ahead. But that hit extends Schultz's road consecutive game hitting streak, to 11. And in those 11 games, it's a 373 average with 19 hits over those 11 games. And he'll take ball 4. The Corn Dogs led off last inning with a double from Terry. and could not capitalize. But now the Corn Dogs will lead off with a walk from Schultz. Colin Small is the new batter. The Corn Dogs look for their 7th win in the month of July after they had 17 wins in June and just 6 losses. They had 18 home runs over those 23 games, which was way above everyone else, as there was a 4-way tie for second with just 4. And here's what's interesting. It was looking at some of the stats on Point Streak, and the Corn Dogs had the most home runs in a game, foul ball to the right 0-1 with 5 against Southland, which is the most by any team. There was a few teams that have hit 2 home runs in one game. But Roman Kuntz, if you recall, just 2 days ago, hit 3 home runs in one game. So Roman Kuntz has literally hit more home runs in a game than every other team in the league. It's hit to the right side. This might be trouble. Cummings goes to his left. It's a sliding attempt by Walker in right field, and he will throw out Schultz at second base. As Schultz, he did the right thing there. It's a fielder's choice for Colin Small on a 9-6 putout. That's always conventional. As Schultz had to stay at first base, there was 2 outs that could have been really nice for the Corn Dogs. But instead, there's 1 out, and Small will get first base as Schultz had to hold up at first until he saw the ball drop. And he went back because he didn't see the ball pop out of the glove of Walker. Luckily, Walker, well, for the American Giants anyway, Walker got up, picked up the ball, and just made a nice, easy throw to Carter covering the bag at second. And that's the first out. Now we'll send up Mathies, who has a hit. He's 1 for 1. Mathies, 316. Here's a pitch. That's not his batting average. That's a shirt you'll occasionally see down the third baseline. As I said the other night, it was his dad, but it was actually his brother that was wearing the shirt the other night. Is that Mathies again? His walk-up song at Hanover Central was a Stone Cold Steve Austin song, and if you're a huge WWE fan, you'll understand that Austin 316 is what connected Stone Cold throughout his entire career. And Mathies has really ran away with it. And this shirt is almost identical. Instead of saying Austin, it says Mathies. Small's on the move. Here comes the throw from Leslie, and they cannot get Small. The throw was offline, and Carter thought he applied the tag on Colin Small, but Small slid around the tag. The throw was online. There's a good chance they would have gotten him, but instead they missed him. And for Colin Small, that is his 6th stolen bag on the year. He's been only caught once. Give the Corn Dogs 79 stolen bases on the year. Actually, 78. Thought maybe there was a stolen base earlier in the game, but there has not been. Small in scoring position. Mathies at the plate. Here's the pitch. Mathies takes one in the dirt. Leslie dropped down and blocked it like a good hockey goalie. And it is a 2-1 count to Mathies. Mathies known for his really good plate discipline. He worked a couple of walks yesterday against the Oilmen. He had 2 walks. As he clobbers one down the right field line, going back on it is Walker, and he makes the play. Small was not tagging, but he'll go back and tag the base and go to third base. As I've said it once, I'll say it again. Brett Mathies will hit a home run at some point or another. But Trey Walker, who plays a really good right field, was able to run it down as it was absolutely blistered, and he made the play on the warning track and robbed Brett Mathies of extra bases, and you picked up an RBI on the play. But it kind of goes down as a sacrifice bunt. And Small will get third, and Hayden Matulich will now try to score in a run. Pitch from Jones. Hayden goes to the right side, and it goes out of play, 0-1. We talked about Hayden Matulich earlier in this broadcast, as he's really turned it around. He started off to a slow start, but he's been hitting for a lot of power. He's had a lot of doubles. He has 6 doubles on the year in just 11 games. He hit one yesterday. And I want to say he's top of the Corn Dogs. And there's a strike. A slider dropped in. 0-2. I know him and Schultz were pretty close, the 2 PNW teammates. There are numerous others. Our top of the leaderboard in doubles, Schultz has 8. And again, already mentioned, Matulich has 6. Looking for RBI number 12. The set, the 0-2. And that is called strike 3. Once again, the Corn Dogs cannot capitalize with runners on base. They've now stranded 4 runners through 3 innings. Hopefully the offense can come alive in the 4th, as that's where we're headed, as the American Giants still hold on to a 1-0 lead, as you're watching Northern League Baseball on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. We'll start the 4th inning with a pitching change. Coming into the ball game is Jacob Bassa, who has a 5.22 ERA, as this is his 6th appearance on the year. He's made 2 starts, so this will be his 4th relief appearance, where he's pitched 10 in the 3rd innings and allowed 11 walks, struck out 13, and 6 runs, all of which are of the earned variety. His last appearance was on July 7th against the Crestwood Panthers. Went just 1 inning, allowed no runs, no hits, no walks, and he struck out 2. As he'll come in relief for Peyton Olenek. And it's a friendly reminder that every pitching change this season is brought to you by IBEW Local 697, proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. As we have numerous other sponsors that we'll be recognizing throughout the broadcast today. And here comes Bassa's first pitch out of the pen, and he throws one right across the plate for strike 1. Who do against Leslie, Cazillo, and Horn. And then Mike Ladden is the 9-hitter. So this is the bottom half of the order, is 0-2. And the story of Jacob Bassa is how consistent is he going to be? As he delivers the 0-2, and he gets a swing and a miss. Leslie wasn't going to swing. Then all at once, he had an emergency hack, and he's a strikeout. And there's 9 Ks by the Corn Dogs. And let's look at the line score of Peyton Olenek after that strikeout from Bassa. He went 3 innings tonight, 3 hits, all of which were in the 1st inning. 1 run, which was earned. He had 2 walks and 8 strikeouts. So he was phenomenal on the mound. Just the pitch count came back to bite him. Here's the pitch. And it's a breaking ball to start the at-bat, but it missed 1-0. Cazillo has 1 home run on the year, 1 of 5 against the Corn Dogs this year. And that was against Bryce Schaum earlier this month. It was a bomb down the right field line as he takes a hearty cut at a fastball that was up out of the zone, and it is 1-1. It's the only home run Cazillo has hit. But for the Corn Dogs, look at the home run totals. This is an interesting story in your off-square Brewing stat of the game. Corn Dogs 25 home runs compared to the opponent's 5 home runs against the pitching. Curveball drops in to say hello, and that's strike 2. So the ratio is perfect. The Corn Dogs will hit 5 home runs before they allow 1. When you hit for a lot of power, not allowing power, sometimes a game of slugging could be a huge difference maker. 2-2. That one was outside. A good take by Kazio. 9 Ks by the Corn Dogs pitching tonight. 1 by Bassa, 8 by Olenek. Break even, and it's ball 3. Bassa, 11 walks compared to the 13 strikeouts. As there's really just 2 appearances where the walks really came back to bite him. 4 against the Oilman, which was a start. Payoff pitch. Strike 3 call. He got him. Kazio thought that was ball 4, but instead it paints the outside corner. And Kazio will head back to the dugout. As that's the second time only where the American Giants have struck out by the looking variety. So if you're going to go down, might as well go down swinging. Strike, that goes on the inside corner, 0-1. And then he had 6 walks back to Bassa on his walk totals. 6 against the Vikings in the 6-1 loss, which was the widest difference in a Corn Dogs loss this year, and that will clip Drew Horn. And Drew Horn will be awarded first base on the hit by pitch. If you're just joining us, it's 1-0 American Giants as they scored that run in the first inning on 3 hits. And for Drew Horn, that hit by pitch was his first on the year. And he's recorded twice in the stats, and both times it had 0 on the hit by pitch total, so that was easy. No difference there. Some of these stats are just wild. His Horn, his batting average is a difference. 364 on one of them, and then a 267 on the other. 1-0 to start off the at-bat to Gladden, who walked and stole second base against Olenek. He is the last hitter of the American Giants lineup in this afternoon's game, as the sun has completely gone behind our booth, as our booth is now cascading a shadow over the infield. His only sunlight now is cascading over the outfield walls. The lights have turned on, not really doing all the work just yet. It's a combination between the two on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Where else would we want to be? And now the camera is completely out of frame. And you know what? We will switch over to this camera so you can get an idea of what's going on. 2-1 with 2 outs and a runner on first base. Bassa delivers the southpaw, and this is a foul ball, 2-2. It was a different left-handed reliever yesterday that did a lot of work for the Corn Dogs. Jake Thomas went 4 innings, allowed 4 hits, 4 runs. None of them were earned. 2 walks, and he struck out 4. And that was his first save on the year. A long-winded appearance. Ground ball back up the middle. Schultz will glove it, and he'll flip it over to Colin Small on one knee, as somehow Tyler Schultz was able to make a play on that baseball that took a wicked hop and end the inning. Bassa strikes out 2, strands a runner at first base, and we will go to the bottom of the 4th with the Corn Dogs trying to mount some offense against Jaden Jones and the American Giants. Bottom of the fourth inning. And let's say hello to manager Justin Heisman. He's not here at the ball game, but he is watching from wherever he's at. And Justin, I'm just going to tell you, Kyle Hallberg is having a great time being the manager of the team. He's 1-0, and he's trying to go 2-0. As manager Justin Heisman should return to the team on Monday. Here's the first pitch, and there's a strike to Scott Hansen to start the at-bat. As Hansen grounded out in his last at-bat, has stranded a runner, a couple of runners actually. 0-1 pitch from Jones, and it's in on the hands, hit to the right side. Coming in is Cummings. Cummings can't make the play, and Scott Hansen will leg it out.
Good hustle by Scott Hansen.
And we'll give him an infield single. It was a tough play. Hansen's got some good speed. 3 straight innings where the Corn Dogs have led off with a runner getting on base. But as of right now, they have not been able to get much other than that, as they have stranded 4 runners through 3 innings. Jaden Jones has thrown a lot of strikes today. He's only issued 2 walks, correction. Let's see if Terry may go to a bunt here. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt, and that's going to hit Gavin Terry. Wasn't sure if it did or not, as the ball had went underneath Terry, and Leslie had the ball deflect off his glove into the backstop. But, hey, the way the offense has been going to start the game, the Corn Dogs just need some traffic on the base paths. And let's do it with some speed. Scott Hansen and Gavin Terry. Terry, again, 18 stolen bases on the year. And for Scott Hansen, he has not been caught on the base pass. He had a stolen base yesterday. And for Scott Hansen, 9 stolen bases. He had 25 for South Suburban this year, where Kyle Harburg is also the assistant over there, the pitching coach. Pitch to Deal. Deal takes one upstairs for ball 1. This is the best opportunity the Corn Dogs have had. It's the only other time they've had 2 runners on base. It came with 2 outs, and then ultimately ended the inning on the ground ball by Hansen. Deal had a great game earlier this year against the American Giants, the first ever meeting between these 2 franchises, the 2 youngest of the Northern League. Fly ball right field. Walker racing after. He's giving it a look, and he'll just watch that one go out of play as we see some fans racing towards the 6-ounce white ball. It's 1-1. And the cool part is here at Legacy Field, if you do get a baseball, you return it to the concession stand. You then get a free popsicle, so a tasty treat. But the way that this weather's been going, don't know if you need a popsicle. It'd just be a nice tasty treat. Most days, especially earlier this year, when it was like 100 degrees, you really needed one. 1-1. Jones hits one into center field. It'll drop in. Scott Hansen racing to third. He's in the run lane. The ball gets past Williams in center. Hansen's getting the wave around. He's going to score. Here comes Gavin Terry. He will not be thrown out the plate. He slides in safely, and the Corn Dogs score 2 runs on a miscue. Here we go. The crowd's on their feet applauding the efforts. Jaden Deal will send 2 runners home. None of them will be RBIs, unfortunately, as that's a single and an E8. And here we go. The Corn Dogs have taken the lead. Jaden Deal just went down there and hit it into left center field, and Donovan Nanfelt will now come up with the Corn Dogs having some momentum. And the best part about it, Corn Dogs fans, there are no outs. Jones surrendering the first 2 runs in his appearance. Here's his pitch, and that is a ball. He's leaving everything up right now. But I was mentioning Jaden Deal. He's hit pretty well against the American Giants. He had a game where he hit a triple, and as I told him going into the game today, maybe the hardest hit ball I've seen by a right-handed hitter, as Doug Loden and Roman Kuntz are left-handed hitters, and they're in a home run race. 1-1's the count. Doug getting the night off. Roman Kuntz out for now. Hopefully he'll be returning soon. So Roman Kuntz had 3 home runs the other day, put him up to 6 on the season. 1 behind Doug Loden for 7. The record is 7, so Loden is tied. And he'll just look for home run number 8 in a later ball game. Ball low, 2-1. And I don't know if too many Corn Dogs fans follow my Twitter. There's a good chance you do not. I commented, famous home run races. 1961 it was Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. And then 1998, McGuire and Sosa. 2022, Kuntz and Loden. Ball 3. Donovan Namfelt. It's a high leverage count for the hitter. There's a very good chance that Namfelt will sit back on a fastball and try to serve it into right center field as Josh Williams is playing straightaway center field. And if it's hit into the right center field gap, he won't be able to get to it. The pitch, that's ball 4. The ball will get away from Leslie, and Jaden Deal will now get to third. And the Corn Dogs have sent up 4 hitters, and all of them have gotten on base. And here comes the manager of the American Giants to talk to Jones. Other than this inning, Jaden Jones has been a really good pitcher. Again, he's trained 4 runners, only allowed 2 hits, and just 2 walks sprinkled through those 3 innings. But now he's gotten himself into trouble with a leadoff single, and that's all it took was one slow roller to the right side that was botched by Jaden Cummings, which we didn't give Cummings an error because it would have been a tough play anyway, trying to transition that ball from his glove to his throwing hand and try to throw out the speedy Hansen. And for Scott Hansen, now 9 hits in his last 4 games. And Hansen was the first run to score for the Corn Dogs today as he was going to be held up at third. But then Williams let the ball get past him, and they sent home. Terry never slowed up from second as he was watching the play. He had a great angle on it coming from first to second, and the ball was in left center. And as soon as he saw the ball get away, he headed for third, and he scored easily after a loose throw from Williams got over the head of Carter. The Cardiac Kid takes the ball 1-0. Correal goes to Grace College. His head coach, who's actually at a Corn Dogs game the other day, in which they said he had a really good time watching Cal Correal and the Corn Dogs play, and it was 1-1. That was Ryan Roth, the coach of Grace College baseball, checking in on Cal Correal. He sat down the first base line. He had a great time, and a lot of fans here tonight. Ground ball to the left, and it will go wide of the third base bag, and it's 1-2. As the 10U state champion Crown Point Cal Ripken team is here. Bishop Knoll is holding their reunion today. And it's an electric night. It's a great night for baseball. 80 degrees. No wind movement at all. The flag's down the right field line just out of peripheral view up here in the booth. We're just hanging on to the poles. Correal hits one off the end of the bat to the right side. And allowed heads up being called from the fans as it will drop down out of play. We'll do 1-2 again to Correal. Correal has some really big moments this year. It all started, the Cardiac Kid stems from his first clutch hit. That was in the opening series against the Oilmen here at home as he got the 2 RBI single down the right field line to give the Corn Dogs a 13-12 lead. Correal takes the ball 2-2. And then he proceeds the next 2 home games to get hit by a pitch to tie the game, then an RBI single to tie it against the Vikings. And then he delivered in the All-Star game, and who would have thought? It was just a perfect string of events for Correal. The pitch is down low, 3-2, as Jaden Jones, after being ahead in the count, 1-2, is 1 ball away from loading up the bases for Tyler Schultz. The Corn Dogs offense has exploded in the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll see if they can keep the sticks hot. The pitch. Ground ball to the right. It's going to get through for a base hit. Jaden Deal will trot him from third and give the Corn Dogs a 3-1 lead. Stick another one on the board for the Corn Dogs. That's the first RBI for the Corn Dogs in this game as the 2 runs scored on the Deal base hit were unearned because of an error. It might be earned now that the Corn Dogs continue to hit, and there's going to be another mound visit and a pitching change. So with that pitching change, we will take a break, and we'll come back with the stats and the name of the new hurdler for the American Giants. Don't go anywhere. Corn Dogs lead it 3-1. Bottom of the fourth with the Corn Dogs leading it 3-1 and still at the plate as they head back to the top of the order with Tyler Schultz. We have runners on first and second. It's Curiel at first, who just got the RBI single that knocked out Jaden Jones. And Schultz hits one straight back off the chain link fence for strike one. And Jones battled as long as he could. When he came in with an ERA over 9, you didn't really think he was going to have a good outing, but he battled. And that's what you're going to expect from this American Giants team. They're going to fight for everything they have, and Jones fought for a long time. And the 3 runs in this inning, I'm going to assume that all of them are earned. That's inside. It's 1-1. As because there was the error by Williams in center, in which the bases would have been loaded after Deal's single, but then a walk and a single from Namfet and Curiel allowed runs to score. So I'm willing to think that no matter what, because there was no outs recorded, that the runs would be charged. Schultz hits a liner down the third base line, and it just missed the chalk. And it's now 1-2 after a screaming strike 2. In the game now is the right-hander Anthony Scanlon, 0-1 record, 4.35 ERA. His last appearance was against the Oilmen, 2 2/3, 3 runs scored, none earned, 3 hits, 4 walks. That last time pitched was July 7th, and that was against the Oilmen in the 10-5 defeat. Schultz steps back up to the plate with no outs. Here's the pitch. Schultz clobbers one, left field. Williams and Gladden are racing after in left center field, and it's going to be Williams that makes the play as he went a long way, and it is out number 1. It was clobbered by Schultz. It was a nice swing, and I think if maybe a little bit of wind assistance today, it would have kept carrying, but the American Giants do have some really incredible outfielders. If you have any young fans that want to play the outfield going forward, watch the American Giants and how they track down baseballs. It's been phenomenal. Even Gavin Terry is a good one to watch, and even Chris Baker of the Oilmen, who made a great play yesterday. Even Hayden Matulich, Colin Small tops one, and it goes off to the left, 0-1. And speaking of Matulich, you can see him on the on-deck circle with Brett Mathis. And if you're Kyle Hauberg or even Justin Heisman, you're happy to see 2 batters on deck trying to time up the new pitcher, Anthony Scanlon. There's 1 out after an impressive play by Josh Williams to get Tyler Schultz, and Nanfield didn't tag up, so he's still standing at second base. Long pause from Scanlon. He delivers. That ball's in the dirt, and Leslie was able to slide it to his right, keep the baseball in front of him, and it is 1-1. This is Scanlon's 7th game this year and his 4th relief appearance. As through 6 games, he was able to split it right down the middle and starts and relief outings out of the bullpen. And he's been reliable for this American Giants squad. As that pitch goes over home plate, and it's 1-2. Oh, just heard the announcement, the first ever 50-50 raffle. A good crowd on hand. I'm assuming Off-Square Brewing off to our right's having a good night. Even to the concession stand. They got to be busy. They're right below us. The pitch. Colin Small swings and misses over the top. Would appear to be a really good changeup from Scanlon. And Scanlon comes into the bullpen, out of the bullpen, and has gotten 2 outs. A fly out the center and his first strikeout. There are 2 gone. The Corn Dogs are still threatening with Nanfeld at second and Curiel at first. And Hayden Matulich, who's on deck, would be the last batter to come up to the plate to complete the full bat around for the Corn Dogs. Pitch misses, ball 1 to Mathies, who is 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to right field, which he absolutely clobbered it. But again, it's the glove work of the outfielders where Walker was able to run it down. Mathies will take one off the plate again, 2-0. Not too many times this year where I've seen Mathies reach out of the strike zone, and if we had a better scoring system and even some of the new devices that we can use in baseball, ball low, 3-0, I'm willing to bet that Brett Mathies would have the lowest swing and miss rate out of pitches out of the strike zone, which is always a really good stat to evaluate how guys are seeing the baseball at the plate, and that's how hitters are able to make some adjustments going forward. Even the hard hit rate has gone to be a big one where guys can, how many barrels can they find? And that's ball 4. Because sometimes you just can be unlucky. That's the game of baseball. As Hayden Matulich, who's up to the plate, found out last night, he came up to the plate with runners on base. As we'll see what inning that was. That was the 3rd. He had runners on 3rd and 2nd. So if he was able to drop it into the outfield over the head of Chris Baker, 2 runs confirmed would have scored because he hit it to straightaway center where it's about 402 at Oil City. And Baker ran it down. And there was a moment, it's a ground ball to the left, and it's foul, 0-1 to Matulich. As Matulich is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout looking against Jones. As Jones' line score is not complete yet. But there was a brief pause, even in the booth, where we weren't sure if Baker had caught the ball or not. And finally, I think he even realized that fans weren't sure what he did. And after running it down, he put the glove up, and everyone started applauding him. Now I have to say, I even tipped my cat to Baker because it was a really good web gem. 0-1, that's inside. It was a breaking ball, 1-1. The bases are full of Corn Dogs. After Mathies worked a walk, Nanfeld at 3rd, Curiel at 2nd, Mathies at 1st. Corn Dogs trying to tack on some more runs. They've scored 3 in the bottom half of this frame. Scanlon comes down the mound, and he throws one high. It's ball 2. Corn Dogs, one of the best on-base percentages as a team this season. They have taken a lot of walks. They have taken 233 walks heading into this ball game. That's ball 3. Looked like the home plate umpire was going to call it a strike. He had the metaphorical finger gun getting ready to be pointed to the right and sign that was strike 2. But instead, after it popped out of the glove of Leslie, he held up and put it right back down. And I don't think anyone noticed. High leverage count for Matulich. Ball 4 would mean a run for the Corn Dogs. But let's see if he can get one over the heart of the plate and see if he can score in more than one. 3-1. And, oh, man. Big cut. He missed. And it's going to set up a huge payoff pitch. 3-2. 2 outs. Bases loaded. Runners will be on the move. Is Donovan Nanfeld, you can't really see it on your screen, down the third base line, was showing that he is going to start running, but with him being at third, I can't imagine him going to a full-on sprint, as he doesn't want to get too close to Matulich at the plate. Payoff. Hit to the right. Kazio can't make the play. It dropped in. Matulich is safe. Here comes Curiel. He scores. Corn Dogs are up 5-1 on a blooper into right center field. Cue the Superman music. He delivers. Corn Dogs are up 5-1 in a huge inning. They have batted around and will send up their 10th hitter with Scott Hansen. The kid from California sends 2 more runners to the plate. That is RBIs number 12 and 13 for Matulich as Hansen hits one in the air right side. This might be playable for Kazio at first base. He's towards the dugout, and he will make the play to end the inning. But a phenomenal offensive explosion by the Corn Dogs. They score 5 runs on 4 hits, and just 1 error by the American Giants will go to the 5th. It's the Corn Dogs 5 and the American Giants 1. You're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network.
United States.
Going into this inning, let's tell you about Crown Antique Mall, who is a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs. We offer a unique mix of antiques and collectibles. Visit crownantiquemall.net to view a list of our upcoming market dates. Dining Solutions at Wicker Park is the answer to your catering needs. Whether you have 50 or 400 guests, we can accommodate any type of occasion. Call us today at 219-923-3830 and let us help customize your next special event. As they still continue to do the on-field activity, as they're having some trivia questions. We'll tell you about Diversified Marketing Strategies, who is a full-service marketing agency that specializes in all forms of media and advertising. Are you ready to start a project with DMS? Visit us at thinkdiversified.com. That is thinkdiversified.com. Bassa goes into his windup. Here's the first pitch, and that's down and in to the American Giants leadoff hitter. It's Trey Walker. So Bassa will start with the top of the order where there's some really good speed. But he was spotted 5 runs, so he's in line for the victory now. Swinging a miss, 1-1. He came in the 4th inning, struck out 2, stranded a runner. And then the Corn Dogs exploded for 5 runs. And that one misses badly. 2 balls and a strike.
Who's having fun tonight?
But I am amazed at the turnout we have tonight. A lot of fans coming out to watch Corn Dogs baseball. Swing and a miss. Good fastball by Bassa. It just rides through the strike zone when he comes from that left side, 2-2. And that's why he's going to be a fighting bee this next season. The pitch, and there's a strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Jacob Bassa. He has been nasty since coming out of the pen. And the Corn Dogs, as a team, have now struck out 11 American Giants. If you have double-digit strikeouts through 4 1/3, that's a good start. Joshua Carter will now try his hand against Bassa, as Bassa is going to be fighting bee for St. Ambrose next season. And I'll say St. Ambrose got a good one. That's down low, ball 1. And for Justin Heisman and Kyle Hauber, they got to be pretty excited. They have two very quality left-handed pitchers that can come out of the bullpen. This is hit to the right into the night sky. Matulich is racing after, and he does not have a play as it'll go soaring over the bleachers that are down the right field line, and it's 1-1 with one out. I have yet to be down there to watch a ball game. I've been behind home plate. I've been down the left field and right field line for Babe Ruth games, but never down the newly bleachers down the right field line 1 and 2, where they put a slab of concrete and put the bleachers on top of it. But I've heard the view down there is great. It's got the stamp of approval for Mark and Becky Mild. They went down there and checked it out during one of the Corn Dogs games this season. 1-2. That's a little bit high. Ooh. A good take by Carter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's Deuces Wild with Andrew Mild behind the mic. And Jacob Bassa looking for his 4th strikeout. Let's see if he can get it here. He goes into his windup. Here he comes. And it's a foul ball off the pole. We do 2-2 again. Bassa's a native of Crown Point. He played for the Crown Point Diamond Dogs, a travel team that once stayed at this field in 2020, where he also played a really good center field. Swing and a miss. Count him up. Jacob Bassa cannot be touched right now. 4 Ks.
Number 42, Josh Williams.
I wonder what his RPMs are like on that fastball. Does not look like it has really any drop to it, but of course it's going to have a little bit considering that Bassa is throwing from a top of a mound, and that's why launching is always a good measurement if you're matching the plane of the baseball. But if you get enough RPMs, it will level out. That's up 1 ball and no strikes as Trevor Bauer, who's not in baseball right now because of a suspension that he is going through, given by Major League Baseball. He was with the Dodgers, not right now, 2-0. He talked about RPMs a lot, as he was one of the first pitchers to advocate for driveline. And he said if hitters are going to try to swing up and put the baseball in the air, 2-0 pitch, that is ball 3, as Williams is ahead 3-0. I'm going to throw it at the top of the zone and get that ride. So if they do swing up on it, they're just going to get a small chance of even getting a piece of it. And that's called strike at the knees, 3-1. That's what led to a lot of pop-ups or weak fly balls. When Bauer won the Cy Young with the Reds in 2020, he was off to a good start with the Dodgers. Here's the pitch. And did he go? He did. Didn't even have to appeal it. It's a full count. Bassa may strike out the side, in which if that's the case, it'd be the 3rd time this game where a Corn Dogs pitcher has done that. Olenek did that in the 2nd and the 3rd. Bassa 1 strike away. It's a full count. He goes into his windup, the late kick, the pitch. And ball 4. That was close. Jaden Deal held it there for a long time, but ultimately it was called ball 4. And I have to say that it was a close pitch, but it was a good take by Williams.
Next batter for the American Giants, number 9.
So the inning will prolong for Jaden Cummings, the cleanup hitter for the American Giants, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. And let's check out the scoreboard in the Northern League. Again, there's only one game tonight. The Panthers and the Vikings have the night off. And ball in the dirt. It's going to be going off to the right. That'll go down as a wild pitch on Bassa. And Williams will go to second. There's a good chance he's heading that way anyway. Talked to the manager of the American Giants before the game as I went into their dugout to get their lineup card. And I told him that the American Giants left quite the impression on the Oilmen a few days ago, as the Oilmen and Generals are locked up at 2 in the top of the 5th inning, as the Generals finally broke through and scored a couple of runs on 2 hits in that inning and left 2 runners on. So they're in the home half of the 5th there. We're in the top of the 5th here. And it's a 1-0 count to Cummings, who will try to score a run here and cut at that Corn Dogs 4-run lead. They just scored 5 runs, half an inning to go. Another ball in the dirt, and Jaden Deal flings the mask off to his right. 2 balls and a strike. And he said, he goes, there have just been numerous times this year where we found ourselves in a really good spot going late in the game just not found the ability to close it. As he made reference to a game earlier this year where it was at Oil City. The American Giants were leading it by 2 runs going into the bottom of the 9th. Ball 3. Bassa back-to-back batters. Well, he's gone behind in the count 3-0 after he struck out the first 2. And we talked about it when Bassa came out of the bullpen. It's been the inconsistency of being able to locate. He looks more comfortable out of the windup. When he goes into the stretch, he sometimes loses his control. The pitch, and that's ball 4. Cummings doesn't see one cross the plate, and he'll be awarded first base. But back to the conversation about the American Giants. There was a bloop single to start the inning, and some very superstitious baseball fans always talk about if their team is on defense and they see a bloop hit or a broken bat single, that often is a sign for bad things to come. That's all it takes sometimes. And that's what happened to the American Giants in this situation. The ball dropped in front of the first baseman who should have made the play. And then there was a walk or hit by pitch, something that allowed the Oilmen to get runners on base, and they ultimately would load up the bases. And the ball was hit into right field, which the right fielder should have made the play by accounts of the Oilmen when they talked about it. There's a strike 0-1 on the broadcast. You couldn't see it because of the camera angle, but from their description, it hit the warning track and then leaped over the wall at Oil City and allowed 2 runs to score to tie the game. And finally, the American Giants would make a pitching change, and then the Oilmen would ultimately win the game, walk-off fashion, by a score of 6-5. There's a strike. That's a nice over-the-top curveball that has snapped its way in there, 0-2. So after 2 at-bats where he fell behind 3-0, Bassa's ahead 0-2, trying to strike out the side and stop it here with trying to put another goose egg up on the American Giants. Long pause, the pitch. That's where exactly he wanted it. Ball in the dirt, and I have to say that Jaden Deal's mask has taken an absolute beating this inning. Every time there's been a ball in the dirt, which it felt like the last couple of hitters, have been a lot of them, he blocks the ball, and he takes off his mask, and he sends it flying. And then, well, that's what they're taught. The pitch. And again, there's Jaden Deal's mask flying off. 2-2. He is collecting dirt on that thing. And Jaden Deal, I have to respect it, goes with the old-fashioned type of bird cage mask. He doesn't go with the hockey style, as most catchers have elected to go that way. And for Yasmani Grandal, as I peer over to my right, is my spotter tonight, Andrew Magarani, is watching the Guardians-White Sox game off his phone. Has a different type of catching equipment, and has a foul ball. It looked like it hit off the leg of Colin Leslie, as his brother Zach Leslie is on deck. We'll do 2-2 again. He has it where his mask is a lot like Jaden Deal's, but there are springs at the top of the mask that have the front of it go out a little bit. So when the baseball hits it, it goes back and absorbs the energy and sends it forward so that these catchers aren't taking blows to the head. As you know, football has discovered recently that there's this brain disease called CTE, which can result from multiple blows to the head. The break-even pitch will hit the leg of Leslie, and the bases are loaded. If this isn't the most Jacob Bassa inning, strikeout, walk, and the hit by pitch. Now the bases are full of American Giants. And that will send up Leslie, who's 0 for 2. Leslie was the first hitter to face Bassa, and he struck out swinging in the 4th inning as he climbed the ladder for the fastball, and he completely missed it. Now Jaden Deal's really got a brick wall behind the plate, and you see it there. That time the mask stays on his head, 1-0. Bassa just not finding the strike zone. No balls put in play just yet. The 2 strikeouts and the 2 walks and the 1 hit by pitch. So ultimately it feels like the American Giants haven't earned the right to have the bases loaded, but they'll take it any way they can. This is a scrappy ball team. The 1-0. It's a strike. Bottom of the strike zone, 1-1. But Yasmani Grandal wears that equipment. Some other catchers have adopted it. I know David Ross of the Chicago Cubs, the manager and former catcher for the team, invested into that business because he had suffered so many injuries to the head when he was playing baseball, as he had a nice long MLB career. Nothing really to be excited about in the offensive department, but he was a reliable catcher on the defensive side, and he played for multiple teams: the Dodgers, Pirates, Padres, Reds, Red Sox, and the Cubs. It's called strike two. It's 2-2. It's actually, believe it or not, his first home run was against Mark Grace, when Mark Grace was with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2002, 20 years ago. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes Bassa. Foul ball. It looked like a breaking ball that wasn't going to break the way Bassa wanted it to, as it was going to stay up and in, and Zach Leslie was able to foul it off. We'll do 2-2 again. Some high-pressure pitches in this 5th inning. Didn't expect it to get to this point after the way it started, but here we are. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And it's a foul ball that I think it hit home plate, and then Leslie fell, and he's still down. He dropped the bat, and we're going to have a moment as Leslie, as you see, is standing right where actually he's not standing, but he's sitting, and he's trying to get himself up. He's using the bat as a cane there. Speaking of canes, Tom Bialik had a birthday earlier this week. I don't think he'd have to use a cane anytime soon. I think he's doing well.
62. I think you need to be 63.
Yeah, I heard that he's celebrating his 49th birthday for the 14th consecutive year. He's been 49 for about 3 different presidents, I think, if I can count them up. 2-2.
Black and white.
There you go. Telling me that he started watching baseball games in black and white. It's 2-2 with 2 outs, as Leslie has regained his composure, will now return to the plate. As Deal and Boss had a little bit of a conversation, but for Leslie, he's been able to fight off the last couple of pitches, trying to deliver. We'll do the 2-2 again. Break even. Called strike 3. He got him. As Jaden Deal dropped the ball, but with a force out anywhere, he just picked up the ball, applied the tag to home plate, and that will end the inning. American Giants' threat goes by the wayside. They'll go to the bottom of the 5th, with the Corn Dogs still clinging to a 5-1 lead. As you're watching Corn Dogs Baseball on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the fifth, let's see if the Corn Dogs can score more runs like they did just an inning ago. As we have the home plate camera back. Sorry, the lights are a little off on the color and it's a little crooked, but hey, behind home plate, it's the best view you can get in a ball game. As the best seat is at home, but we'd love to have you here at the ballpark as we only have a few more home games on the season. Gavin Terry leads off. Here's the pitch, and that's ball one. And the Great Lakes Sports Hub is the official training facility of the Lake County Corn Dogs, not just another dome. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW Local 697, is a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs. Gavin Terry checks swing to the left. It's can't be picked up by the third baseman, but he had plenty of time. He was playing in just in case of a bunt. And it was a swinging bunt as Drew Horn, the third baseman, made the play. And we'll start the bottom of the fifth with a ground out to the hot corner on a ball that was not hit so hot. But for IBEW Local 697, their catchphrase is, as one we are limited, but as a group we are strong. And as the Corn Dogs have had a nice, strong season in their first season as a franchise, as they are marching closer and closer to a regular season championship. If they win the game, 4.5 up on the Southland Vikings, who are 23-14-2, which, if you go to the point streak, there's no longer an option to see how many games behind the team is, as that's not right. Even if you click on the team, because it will say that the Corn Dogs are 7.5 games out, and that the Panthers are only a half a game out, in which the Panthers are 12 games out of first place. They are 14-21-1. One out. And Scanlon delivers. And that almost got Deal. 1 ball and no strikes. But the way I was just taught, if you want to find out what it is, you take the win differential and the loss differential and find the middle between them. Deal has a nice hearty cut, tried to do damage on it, and he missed 1-1. So for the Corn Dogs, 3 games on Southland in the win department, and then they have 9 losses, the Corn Dogs, to the 14 of Southland. So that's 5, and right in the middle is 4. Down low, 1-2 with 1 out. It was a nice changeup from Scanlon. But for the Corn Dogs tonight, they have had 25. When the Corn Dogs score first, they are 20-5. And let's see what they do when they score second. The pitch. And Deal will be down on strikes. He swung right over the top of a slider. And for Scanlon, that's his first strikeout in this appearance and the second out of this inning. That will send up Nanfelt.
Now batting number 34, Donovan Nanfelt.
Nanfelt is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. He scored. Ball inside, 1-0. We'll have to get that stat for you later, but here's one I found. We talk about the American Giants and how many games they've just lost at the end. They're 0-7 in one-run games. And from the sounds of it, a lot of them came when they were leading. I know one of those one-run losses came earlier this year here at Legacy Field, where the Corn Dogs won it 5-4, but the American Giants had only led at one point in the game. It was 1-0 after the second inning. A lot like tonight. American Giants scored first, and then the Corn Dogs had a big inning. In that game, they scored 4 runs in the middle inning, so a lot like tonight. And they scored 1 run after that to take a 5-1 lead. And 1 3-run inning by the American Giants made it 5-4, but then Dylan Matusak locked it up. Nanfelt fouls it off to the right, and it goes off the fence. It's 2-2. The sun is fully down. You still see some clouds in the night sky. They were nice and puffy to start today. Now they look more like storm clouds, but there's no rain in the forecast. And the lights go on to the field. Beautiful night for baseball. Where else would you rather be than Legacy Field? The pitch, Nanfelt takes a breaking ball down low for ball 3. So this will set a 3-2, 2-out offering to Nanfelt. Nanfelt's not put a ball in play yet through his first 2 at-bats, as a ambulance will go behind the center field wall. Scanlon delivers, and Nanfelt must have fouled it off. Wasn't quite sure, didn't hear the bat made contact with the ball, but Ainfeld's going to see another pitch. Must have just got enough of it, and Colin Leslie could not squeeze it. Scanlon looking for a 1-2-3 inning after the Corn Dogs sent 10 hitters up in the bottom of the fourth. The pitch, and it's a strikeout of Nanfelt. Nanfelt will not go to first base. Leslie will tag him with the baseball, and Scanlon strikes out the last two hitters he faces in this inning. Corn Dogs go down in order. We'll go to the sixth inning. Corn Dogs up 5-1 as you're watching your Lake County Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Due up for the Chicago American Giants will be Kazio, Horn, and Gladden. 7, 8, 9, so the bottom of the order. And as Kazio steps up to the plate to take on Bassa for the second time, we'll tell you about Horizon Bank, who's a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs. We provide online conveniences that support innovative solutions. A ball to start the at-bat for your personal, commercial, and mortgage banking needs, as well as wealth and investment services. Visit horizonbank.com to learn more today. Southpaw versus Southpaw. Bassa delivers, and he misses. 2-0. Had a nice conversation before the game today where I was asked what my favorite baseball movie is. If the fans who are watching tonight's game want to tell me what your favorite movie is, I'll make sure to say it on air. It's 2-1. I answered the movie 61, as that movie is based on the 1961 season, the race between the M&M boys. That's low 3-1. It's Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris as they play the outfield for that team, and ultimately a team that would go on to win the 61 World Series. But that was the year where the season had been prolonged to 162. Strike two called. Full count to Kazio. But also that was when the California Angels were added for the first time, so teams would actually have to go out west, and the night games were a big thing. Payoff. Kazio hits one to the left. Curiel racing towards the dugout. He's looking up, and it is going to go foul. We will do 3-2 again to Kazio in a tough battle between these two players, Bassa and Kazio. So that was a fun movie. It's one of my favorites. You can find it on HBO Max. Obviously, The Sandlot is popular. Field of Dreams. The Field of Dreams game's coming up. That'll be between the very exciting Cubs and Reds. And strike three, they got Kazio. Once again, Kazio thought he worked a walk, but instead, he's the sixth strikeout for Jacob Bassa in the first in this inning. I've written Moneyball, as I just mentioned that earlier. in between innings. That's upstairs. 1-0 is actually inside. It's Andrew Magrani, my spotter for today's game, as Noel Ferry's not with us just yet. He'll be back on Monday, so if you're missing Noel, I know I am. He'll be back momentarily, as even Justin Heisman was asking me where he was. That's up 2-0. We were talking about Dallas Keuchel in between innings, and if you're a White Sox fan or Major League fan, Keuchel got released by the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. Swing and a miss, 2-1 from Drew Horn, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and an HBP, a hit by pitch. But I was being told that he's still getting paid by the White Sox, and that's a late cut, 2-2. Is Jacob Bassa going to strike out 7 hitters by 5 2/3 and give the Corn Dogs 15 this afternoon? He will find out after this 2-2, and he missed 3-2. And I said, kind of like a lot like David Justice. There's the famous scene where Billy Beane being played by Brad Pitt saying that the Yankees are still paying Justice's contract. And ball 4, somehow Drew Horn laid off of it. That's his second unofficial at bat today. He'll get first base with 1 out. But anyway, you can do it where if you release a player and a team picks it up, they'll then continue to pay this guy a certain percentage point. And for Justice, I believe it was around 70 to 80% of Justice's contract for Justice to play against the Yankees while wearing an Oakland A's uniform. Strike 0-1. And Keuchel's still getting paid by the White Sox, so that's where Moneyball came in, as my spotter, Andrew Magrani, had a good laugh after he wrote it down on one of the stat sheets I have in front of me for tonight's game. Breaking ball drops down low. Nice sharp movement and a good take by Mike Ladden. In his last at bat, he grounded into a fielder's choice after a great play by Tyler Schultz over at short, played on a hop, and then flipped over to Colin Small on one knee. Jaden Deal has the ball go behind him. He's going to throw to first base. Nafel applies a tag, and they didn't get him. And Bassa and Small can't believe it. And somehow in unison, they jump, and for the first time this year, I've heard the Boo Birds. I thought they were still down south somewhere, but they have worked their way up here to Legacy Fields. And after that call, there was a unison of Boo Birds going towards the base umpire. The American Giants may have gotten away with one. 3-1 high leverage count for Gladden. See if there's any other really good baseball movies. Wow. I was just seeing the score. The Blue Jays are beating the Red Sox 27-3 in the 6th inning. And that is ball 4 to Gladden. And I thought yesterday's score between the Generals and Panthers were bad. I saw it was an 11-run inning by the Blue Jays. Any stats lines that are standing out tonight? And Nathan Eovaldi started the game. Nasty Nathan. Fremel Tapia of the Blue Jays hit an inside-the-park grand slam. So if that's a really good description of what type of game that the Red Sox are having at Fenway, which I'm willing to bet fans are starting to file out early out in Boston, Massachusetts. Bunt shown, ball low. It's 1-0. There's also, you mentioned The Sandlot. They have all 3 movies. I only really watched the first one. Bull Durham's a good one. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Of course, you can't forget about 42, as that tells the first season of Jackie Robinson playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers all the way back in 1947. Played by Chadwick Boseman, who within the last year passed away. But he had a phenomenal rendition of playing Robinson, as that one skips in 2-1, as Jaden Deal has been busy since Bassa came into the game. But then also you talk about Harrison Ford, as he played Branch Rickey in that game, the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers when they brought in Jackie Robinson, also accredited for creating the farm system. He started the minor leagues and gave players opportunities to develop before they get to the major leagues. It's a line drive, left field line, but it's going to go foul, as Trey Walker was way early on it, and it's 2-2. It's towards the end of the bat, as they made a weird sound. It wasn't hit all too hard, and he just spun on it and sent it down the line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's also a movie, I can't remember what it's called, but former President Ronald Reagan starred in it as he played Grover Cleveland Alexander, I believe. It's not one of the best baseball movies. It's actually gotten some pretty bad reviews in its time. He also actually started as a broadcaster around Reagan. He went to the 1937 spring training for the Cubs. Breaking ball that works its way inside. And the count is 2-2. It was called The Winning Team. It was all the way back in 1952. It's got a 6.5 rating on IMDb. Here's the pitch. And called strike 3. It's not an enthusiastic call by the home plate umpire. It looked like a strike from up here. It hit the inside corner. 7 strikeouts for Jacob Bassa. And looking at his pitch count, I'm willing to bet this is going to be his last inning of work. There's been a lot of walks and strikeouts, which has really allowed that pitch count to go up. Here's the pitch. It's a line drive straight back off one of the poles behind home plate, 0-1. So if you ever watch listen to the song Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, which described the 3 outfielders that played for the 3 New York teams the 3 New York baseball teams, which was the Dodgers, Giants, and, of course, Yankees. They mentioned how Alexander was winning in Washington and continues to win as Grover Cleveland Alexander pitched for the Washington Senators, and then Reagan played him and then won the presidency in the late 80s. 0-1. That's down low, 1-1. It's called Talking Baseball, as there are just absolute numerous lyrics that talk about the game of baseball and around what was going like at that time and describing some of the nicknames of the players for the decades and the generations. It's low, 2-1. And then they get later on and they start adding on some of the more current players at that time, like Tom Seaver or Mike Schmidt. Vida Blue makes his way in there. Somehow another player that's never made the Hall of Fame. He's always been on the top 10 list of guys that should have made the Hall of Fame, but he's not in there. The 2-1. And swing and a miss. Carter was late. That fastball at the top of the zones really served to be unhittable for Jacob Bassa. Bassa up to 77 pitches. Waiting for the bullpen to get moving around for the Corn Dogs. Look like Dylan Matusak might be coming in as he's in the dugout. Just got his back cracked by a fellow teammate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Pitch. And that's off the outside corner. And Carter was heading back to his dugout. He thought that was strike 3. But the umpire did not ring him up. Not too many times where a hitter will think that's strike 3, head back to the dugout, and the umpire will say, no, come back, that's ball 4. Usually the opposite, where it's ball 4, and they get called back because it was called a strike. Never know what you're going to see at the ball game. That's the fun part about it. Runners will be on the move. Bassa is set. Here's his pitch. And called strike 3. He got him. You can't really hear it from up here. And Peyton Olenek and Jacob Bassa both have struck out 8 hitters for a grand total of 16 through 6. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Corn Dogs lead it 5-1 on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Corn Dogs are coming up in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Ironworkers Local 395 is a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Local 395 continues to forge and maintain strong partnerships with owners and contractors based on our commitment to provide excellent craftsmanship through safety, productivity, reliability, and training. Ivy Tech Lake County is a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Ivy Tech, higher education that's built around you. Serving all Lake County with locations, and write these down, Crown Point, East Chicago, and Gary. Visit ivytech.edu/Lake County to sign up today.
Number 7, Cal Curiel.
Speaking of Crown Point, we'll start off with the Crown Point native, Cal Curiel. 1 for 2, RBI single, and he takes a strike to start off his at-bat against Anthony Scanlon. So with 16 strikeouts by the Corn Dogs tonight, they are fastly approaching the most strikeouts by them this season and for the record for the entire Northern League in the 2022 season. The Corn Dogs had 19 strikeouts back on July 6th against the American Giants. So they just need 3 more to tie it. 1-1. And that's in, 2-1. So now you have to start asking yourself, what's more impressive? Is it the Corn Dogs maybe 20 strikeouts as a team? Or is it their no-hitter that they had earlier this year against the Southland Vikings? So that was a blowout when the Corn Dogs threw a combined no-no. Curiel moves out of the way, and it's 3-1. I'd say the no-hitter would probably be more impressive. That was Jimmy Burke, Jacob Bassa, and Jorge Santos that pitched in that game. The three South Suburban Bulldogs. It's a chopper to Horn. He goes across the diamond and will throw out Curiel for the first out. One gone after the ground out from Curiel, as Scanlon has now sat down the last 5 hitters he faced. He gave up a single to Hayden Matulich down the right field line, but the runs did not count towards his line score. And we'll go back to the top of the order with Tyler Schultz. And a breaking ball will go into the dirt for ball 1. Corn Dogs lead it 5-1. Angel Mild with you. Happy to have you on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. As this will be the final game of this week, and then 2 more weeks, that's it. Tyler Schultz hits one deep. Left field. Gladden's going back. He seems to be underneath it. He is, and he makes the play. The crowd was about to get going as Tyler Schultz hit one high into the air, and it just slowed down, and Mike Gladden was able to camp underneath it and record the second out. You see a little bit of a breeze now, slightly coming in from right field. Nothing where it might knock down the baseball for a left-handed power hitter, but none in the Corn Dogs lineup tonight without Doug Loden or Roman Kuntz. It's a strike 0-1, or even Jake Ferry, who's got the night off. Can't forget about Jake Ferry, who's hit 3 home runs this year. That is 3rd best in the Northern League, tied with Tyler Schultz. The 0-1. And Colin Small breaks his bat. It's a swinging bunt to the left side. No one's going to make a play as the throw from Scanlon will not be in time.
He does it all. Colin Small.
That bat is nothing but firewood now. But Colin Small was able to buy himself a hit and use his speed to his advantage and get first base. That hit for the Corn Dogs is their 7th in the game. In the last 2 games, they've scored 25 runs on 31 hits. They had 19 against the Panthers and 12 against the Oilmen yesterday. As we've been keeping a close eye in that ball game, the only other game going on in the Northern League tonight. Here's a pitch to Mathies. That one's not close. Mathies didn't have to think twice about it. 1 ball, no strikes. It's the top of the 6th there, where the Oilmen are holding on to a slim 3-2 lead on Joliet. And it looks like maybe the bottom of 6 just concluded. Oh, bottom 6 just got started. There's a base hit from Kyle Zarnecki of the Oilmen. And I'm not sure if that was called a strike or not, or if the umpire was adjusting his mask. We'll go with 2-0, and it might be 1-1. We'll find out. The fact the umpire hasn't said anything it's a good sign, as the scoreboard does say 2-0. As his strike call has been in front of him lately, but that time he went to his face. So I think it is 2-0. We'll go with that. Small got a lead over at first. Mathies, left-handed hitter, up to the plate. And that one's called a strike. Okay, so we will go 2-1. That one was more confident than the one before that. As Mathies, he has a hit, but he almost hit his first home run of the year. He's been hitting a lot of hard fly balls or hard liners to right. It's either been caught or just didn't make it out of the yard. That one goes out of the yard. 2-2, 2 outs. Colin Small over at first. Brett Mathies was almost the 11th All-Star for the Lake County Corn Dogs. He's swung a hot bat. He came into this game batting pi. That's .314. And then he pitched really well. He only had one appearance going into this week where he allowed any runs. It was 3 runs against the Oilmen, 3-2 now. But he started against the Generals where he surrendered, I believe it was 3 runs even then. We'll take a quick look. We'll look back on that appearance. Mathies gave up 3 earned runs, 4 altogether. Small on the move. Mathies will hit one off to the left, and it will go out of play. No play for the left fielder, Mike Gladden. And we'll do it again. Corn Dogs, American Giants, Friday night, packed crowd. I think we even had the first time ever we had to establish a standing room only. But everything is packed in tight. Everyone's packed in like a pack of sardines. Runner on the move. Brett Mathies ropes one to right field. No one's going to get it. It's going to one hop the wall. Small was on the move. He's getting the wave round. Here he comes. The relay throw will not come in. Mathies that second. Small scores. Corn Dogs are up 6-1. Two-way star, former Times Player of the Year, and he keeps raking for the Corn Dogs. And Mathies has now racked up 10 RBIs on the year as Colin Small was on the move, on the pitch. And because Brett Mathies hit it over the head of Trey Walker and burned him, he was able to score and do it safely by standing up. And the Corn Dogs still threatening to score as Hayden Matulich comes up, and he'll take one low. Chuck was able to hold on to his swing, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. If you want to come to a Corn Dogs game this season, you can head over to corndogsbaseball.com and purchase tickets, or you can buy them here from the ballpark. The 1-0. Matulich swings over the top of the pitch, and it's 1-1. You can also go online and purchase some memorabilia, some cool shirts, and even some hats. Just recently got a Macaron hat, and I have to say, it's pretty comfortable. You can sport the same hat that the Corn Dogs are wearing. 1-1. Matulich steps back up to the plate, and he goes over the top of a nasty slider, 1-2. As Scanlon releases his pitches between 9 and 10 o'clock from that right side, so he's able to get around the pitch and cause that spin from the slider to snap away. As we've seen a pitcher like Chris Sale that can really drop down about halfway and get the spin because of his fingers getting around the baseball and snapping it through. As the slider's become a very common pitch, as it looks like a fastball and then snaps off. And there's a slider again. Matulich learned his lesson. He took it. It's 2-2. As it was Kyler Murray who just inked a huge contract to be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals going forward, the team that drafted him first overall out of Oklahoma. He was actually the first player to ever be drafted in the first round of the MLB and NFL draft and be in the top 10 both times. Matulich takes in one low, and it's a full count with 2 outs. As Murray was drafted 10th overall to the Oakland A's, and he said, it's a lot easier to play football than it is to hit a slider and dictate what pitch it's going to be. As it goes to say, baseball is the hardest sport to play, especially if you're a position player. Payoff. Matulich clobbers one. Left field, Gladden going back, and it is gone! Matulich hits his second home run. It goes over the left field wall, and let's go on a cowhide joyride. And the Corn Dogs are up 8-1. The fans are into it now. That's what it's all about. They're up on their feet, applauding Superman, who hit that baseball over a building. And the Corn Dogs are pulling away. 3 runs have scored on 3 hits. And that's going to be it for Scanlon. They're going to go to the bullpen. We'll come back after we get stats from this pitcher. Don't go anywhere. Your Corn Dogs are winning it 8-1. Well, the pitching change leaves kind of a question mark for us up here in the booth because this is Sammy Sabatillo. And the only reason why we know that is because his name was on the lineup card that we were given going into the ball game. And he has no stats. That's how we know this is his first time pitching in a game. As we have the stat sheet in front of us, and Mags, or Andrew Magarani, that's his nickname, look through it, and he's not on here, and he's not even on the Point Streak website, so we can't even go back to see when his last appearance would have been. But as he gets warmed up, we'll go through some ad reads. After the home run from Hayden Matulich was his second home run of the year, as he won Player of the Week before the All-Star break, and he strikes again as he's picked up 4 RBIs in this game. He did that clutch hit down the right field line to send in 2 runners, and those RBIs have put him up to 15 on the year. And I'll tell you about Kuziak Construction, a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Use your complete home improvement expert. From home remodeling, repairs, and roofing, we do it right. Contact us today at 219-923-3007. Attorney David Gladish represents clients that have cases involving personal injury, wrongful death, auto accidents, medical malpractice, and more. Visit dgladishlaw.com to learn more. Macron, the official jersey partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Work hard, play harder. And the Corn Dogs are playing really hard tonight. They're looking for their 3rd straight win. And what a way to wrap up the week if that's what they can do, because it's going to be a busy next week. That's why Jake Tomitz is, if you watched yesterday's game when we were in Whiting, Tomitz had to go 4 innings. And when I asked him if that was the plan going in, he said, yeah, pitch to Hansen is outside 1-0. He said that was the plan because it's going to be such a busy week next week. 4 games in 3 days open up with a doubleheader in Carroll Streams, back-to-back home games that buzzed the tower of Scott Hansen 2-0. It went almost through his head. And then, again, mentioned back-to-back games against Crestwood, and then, actually, it's the American Giants and then Crestwood. So open up the week with all 3 Illinois teams. Hansen checks swing down the right field line. It's foul, 2-1. And then the Oilmen come to Legacy Fields for the final time on Thursday. And then the Corn Dogs conclude the week on Friday. Let's see who that game is against. 2-1. Sabatillo just coming in. First batter, he's facing the American Giants uniform, and he's behind 3-1. That game will be in Chicago on the 29th against the American Giants at Gano Park, which is the Kroc Center. The pitch, and that runs inside, ball 4. Scott Hansen gets a 5-pitch walk from Sabatillo, and now we'll go over the first. Go through the line score of Anthony Scanlon momentarily. We'll calculate them in between innings. And they're going to throw over the first to check on Hansen. The Corn Dogs are in the realm of ending this game early. They need 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th or the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 10 runs after 7. Hansen moving. Terry takes one for a ball. The throw down is not in time. Scotty Hansen just cannot be thrown out. And he's just been on a tear as of late. He's 1 for 3 tonight, but he's reached base twice. Heading into the game, he's had 8 hits in his last 3 games and extended his hitting streak to 7 straight. Gavin Terry had one of the longest hitting streaks this year by a hitter. It was 14. Had it from June 3rd to June 29th before he was snapped. 0-1, long pause. Here's the pitch. Gavin Terry lifts one, right field. This one's got a chance. Walker going for it, and it drops in front of the wall. Hansen will score easily from second. Terry rounds into second base. He trades places. He gives another chop to his dugout, his second double of the game, and the Corn Dogs are up 9-1. They're just pouring it on with their second crooked number inning. We are having fun tonight. The sticks stay hot as the Corn Dogs are looking for a 3rd straight game where they have scored double-digit runs. And I know somewhere Justin Heisman's smiling. Kyle Harburg might go 2-0 as the temporary manager of the Corn Dogs. Jaden Deal will come up after the double from Terry. Terry hit it right down the line and dropped it on the warning track. That is low, 1-0. If we were at Chicago tonight, especially at Illinois Tech, where they have a short porch, maybe, from what I've heard, it's been estimated around 270 down the line with a big chain link fence. It's kind of like the one that is behind home plate. And it goes down about from the right field line about away to right center is what it cuts off. It's where Nathan hit a home run, 2-0 at Illinois Tech. The Corn Dogs hit 4 home runs that game. Terry hit his first career homer, not just as a Corn Dog or even at a full-length field. And sometimes you start in Little League, the field is going to be smaller, of course. That's not sometimes, that's all the time. But his dad said that was Gavin's first home run ever. The wind was blowing out to right field. Terry's left-handed hitter hit right over the wall. And also found out, and it's strike one, in the last American Giants Corn Dogs game, which was on July 9th, Gavin Terry is cousins with Cleveland Cavaliers guard Darius Garland. But Gavin Terry took up baseball. I think Gavin could have been a good point guard. He's got some good speed. I just don't know if the height would have helped him any. But Garland just signed a huge contract with Cleveland, so that is an athletic family. 2-1. It's now 3 balls in the strike, a hitter-friendly count for Deal. But also, Darius Garland, he just knows how to run an offense. He really put that team together this last year. Terry puts his team together. Especially if he's batting leadoff and getting on base and stealing bases, sets the table for the Corn Dogs to feast. The pitch. And Deal will work a walk. So Sabatillo comes in, and he's faced 3 hitters, and has gone with a walk to Hansen and Deal, and sandwiched between those two walks was the RBI double for Gavin Terry. So Terry has collected doubles number 6 and 7, and now has 11 RBIs on the year. As Terry also leads this team in walks with 26. As he had a hit by pitch earlier, doesn't count as a walk, but the OBP will still go up. As Terry's gotten on base 3 out of 4 times, he's standing at second. Deals at first, and Nanfelt steps up. Nanfelt's the last hitter to get that bat in this inning in the whole lineup. That's low. 2-0. So the Corn Dogs, for the second time tonight, have batted around. And that's good news. Corn Dogs want to save on some pitching. As again, yesterday, Thomas knew the plan was going 4 innings. It was a long-winded appearance. He earned background player of the game as he rightfully deserved it. I thought maybe Nicholas Johnson was going to get it. Had to mention it early. Told him he had a good game, though. Nanfelt pulls his shoulder out, and he swings and misses 2-1. Score updates from Major League Baseball. Cubs are beating the Phillies 15-1 as Nelson Velasquez has a 2-homer, 5 RBI night. And we won't mention the White Sox. They're playing Cleveland. We'll say that. That is low, 3-1. Hit a friendly count for Nanfelt. A ball 4 here to load up the bases for Cal Correal, who led off the bottom of the 6th inning with a ground out to Drew Horn, the third baseman of the American Giants tonight. American Giants rocking their red jerseys tonight. And Nanfelt takes a strike, and that's strike 2. It's now 3-2. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I believe, is this weekend. Let's look who's in that class. I know David Ortiz is on there, which I have to tell my favorite David Ortiz story, and it doesn't involve him being with the Red Sox. It involves a Hall of Famer. And ball 4, bases are loaded, so we'll be able to tell that story. Nanfelt goes to first base. Terry's at third, and Deal is at second. So it all starts off with a minor league baseball game where Griffey and Alex Rodriguez were still on the Mariners together. Of course, both those guys were first overall picks, and both of them became really good talents. So they went to this minor league baseball game and challenged the minor leaguers to a home run derby. And you think watching this that Griffey and A-Rod were easily going to win it, as both guys hit for over 500 home runs in their career. Of course, one guy, you're going to give him the thumbs up. The other one has an asterisk next to it. But anyway, we won't go into that. The pitch. Correal fouls one straight back, 1-1. With the bases loaded and 2 outs, Corn Dogs, if they score 2 runs, all they have to do is get 3 outs in the top of the 7th, and the game could be over. But anyway, this left-handed hitter somehow beats Griffey and Alex Rodriguez, this prospect that was with the Minnesota Twins at the time, and found out that the person that defeated Rodriguez and Griffey was David Ortiz himself. That was before he got called up to the Twins, and then ultimately got traded, I believe, to the Red Sox. And have a illustrious career as the second DH ever to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, as that one will go out of play for 2-2. Jim Cott, Tony Oliva, David Ortiz, Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Minnie Monoso, who for White Sox fans are right, he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But then Buck O'Neil. And for those who don't know Buck O'Neil, he's the first coach of color in the Major League Baseball with the Chicago Cubs. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Correal takes one in the dirt. This will set up a payoff pitch for the runners on the move. O'Neil played in the Negro Leagues I believe he played with the Kansas City Monarchs, and that's where the American Giants, that's where their name comes from. But Buck O'Neil with the Cubs also recruited Ernie Banks. The 3-2 pitch, chopped to the left side. It's picked up by Horn. Horn spins, he throws the first, and Correal is out. So this inning starts with a 5-3 putout. This inning ends on a 5-3 putout. Corn Dogs score 4 runs, and they take a comfortable 9-1 lead into the 7th inning. It's almost stretch time from Legacy Field. Top of the 7th, almost stretch time. Let's tell you about more of our proud sponsors for the Lake County Corn Dogs in their inaugural season. We'll tell you about Misprint, the official printing partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. We specialize in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Big or small, we do it all. Visit misprintindiana.com to learn more about our services. That's misprintindiana.com. Off Square Brewing is the official brewing partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. At Off Square Brewing, we strive to be just that. Off Square, we think and brew outside the box. As Dylan Matusak has come into the ball game, and let's look at his numbers. He has pitched 19 and 2/3 innings, 4 runs, and that's it against him. 16 walks, 29 strikeouts, and a very nice 1.83 ERA for the right-handed pitcher. There's a Heidelberg College in Ohio. Here's the pitch to Williams, and it's a strike. Close the day on Bassa. As Bassa goes 3 innings, he allows no hits, no runs. He had a lot of walks. That's a ball. We'll count them up in a moment. But the most important one is the 8 strikeouts. That's 16 for the Corn Dogs heading into this inning. Here comes Matusak. He throws a breaking ball that missed just a bit high. It's 2-1. I see 4 walks and 2 hit by pitches for Bassa. And there's a strike. Outer edge as Matusak was able to paint the corner. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Williams, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. So yet no balls in play yet for the tall left-handed hitter, which I can assume can hit for some good power if he makes contact. Break even, and he hits one off of Jaden Deal's glove. We'll do 2-2 again. Scoreboard update, Generals 4, Oilman 3. They scored 2 runs. The Generals have somehow committed 5 errors in the game and are still leading. That's not every day where you see a team committing 5 errors and somehow winning the ball game. And they've been out hit by the Oilmen. 2-2. That is a nasty pitch. It drops right in. Uncle Charlie says hello and goodbye to Joshua Williams. 17 strikeouts by the Corn Dogs, not by Dylan Matusak, who just came into the game, but 17 in total. It was a split 8-8 by Olenek, the starter, and Bassa, the relief pitcher, and Matusak going to strike out. We now bring up Jaden Cummings. Here's the pitch, and it's a strike, 0-1. If you're just joining us, happy to have you with us. Corn Dogs and the American Giants. Corn Dogs leading it 9-1. So we'll go through some very important things for the Corn Dogs and what's going on in the future. 0-2 now. As Dylan Matusak, seen him pitch for a long time now, as he's also a Crown Point native. They go from one to the other, and Bassa and Matusak. That is the waste pitch, 1-2. As Matusak has really been able to develop some really good, nasty breaking stuff. And his fastball's been really mean this season. As he throws one for strike 3, it's called. Wow. I'm not sure about that one. Cummings goes down on strikes. He is shocked. He had a long stare at the home plate umpire, and he put his left hand on his hip. The bat was in his right hand, and he didn't say anything, but his body language was saying, "You got to be kidding me." And he's now the 18th strikeout for the Corn Dogs, 1-0 to Leslie. Corn Dogs 1 strikeout away from 19, which would be the high on the year. But they may not get an opportunity to go for 20 because if they score 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, then the game would end on the 10 after 7 rule that's implemented in every ballpark but Oil City. There's a cut and the miss, 2-1. But the Corn Dogs, their magic number to clinch a playoff spot is sitting at 4, and there's a strike. That is a really good breaking ball right over the top. Does Matusak come with that pitch? Does it cause it to tumble the way it does? Here it comes. This is lifted into right center field. This may play with the eyes of Terry. Terry's there. He's confident. And him and Matulich meet up. But Terry's the one that makes the play. Matusak comes in and sends the crowd to the 7th inning stretch. Corn Dogs 9, American Giants 1. as you're watching your Lake County Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the seventh inning, we just had stretch time and a camera go out all at once. So that was an exciting and eventful middle seventh inning. That was low inside the Schultz. The Corn Dogs 2 runs away from ending the game early. And because of that, in this meeting, Plumbers Local 210 is a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. We strive to provide and maintain education of apprentices and upgrading of journeymen in the plumbing industry. Purdue Federal Credit Union is the official credit union of the Lake County Corn Dogs. Purdue Federal Credit Union in Indiana offers valuable banking solutions, including checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, credit cards, business solutions, student banking, and much more. Visit PurdueFed.com to learn more today. Get back to play. Schultz laces one to the left, and this will drop down for a hit as it almost got past Mike Gladden. And Gladden just had to defend himself there as that had a really nice exit velocity and a really nice crack of the bat by Tyler Schultz. And Schultz is now 1 for 4 in this game. And Colin Small will come up. Now, Small would represent ultimately the final run as the American Giants are 2 runs away from possibly ending their games early as they lost yesterday 14-2 against the Vikings at Dowling Park over in Hammond, Indiana, about half an hour from where we are sitting and where you are watching baseball. Small in this game, 1 for 4. 2 strikeouts and a single where she came around the score. They throw over and check on Schultz. Another scoreboard update. 4-4. Oilmen have tied it. Back and forth action there. We have to tune into that one if it's still on, if this game ends early. If we ever have time. Here's the pitch. Colin Small lifts one up and out of here for strike 1. 1-1. But again, the magic number for the Corn Dogs is 4. So if they hold on to this lead and win the game, they would take that magic number down to 3. It's a team they have to watch out for to allow the Corn Dogs to clinch an official playoff spot. 2 balls and a strike. It was low. is the Crestwood Panthers. The Panthers had tonight off. So every time that the Panthers lose or the Corn Dogs win, that magic number goes down because that means that the Corn Dogs are getting to a point where they cannot mathematically be below. This is a blooper to center, and it's not going to be caught. Josh Williams came charging in, but Colin Small caught that one towards the end of the bat, and it served him well as he picks up his second hit. And now that eventual ending run or slaughter rule run is standing on first base in the form of Colin Small.
Number 23, Brett Bassa.
For the Corn Dogs, that is now 12 hits in tonight's matchup, as they had 4 hits in the fourth and 4 hits in the sixth. They scored 5 in the fourth and then 4 more just a half inning to go. Mathis will take one on the outside corner, right at his knees. 0-1 from Sam Sabatillo. His first appearance in a jersey for the American Giants. And that's out, 1-1. For Scanlon, he pitched 2 2/3 innings. 3 runs are charged at his line score. 2 of them came from the home run from Hayden Matulich, his second of the year, as he's in line to maybe win Mac Brown Player of the Game. And how can you argue it? He's 2 for 3 with a walk, 4 RBIs, and of course the home run that would chase out Anthony Scanlon from the game. Mathis is ahead, 2-1. He's standing at the plate after his double. That's low, 3-1. I'm just gonna have to say it again. Mathis will hit a home run some point this year. And if it would come right now and end the game, I wouldn't be against it. He's been swinging a hot bat for the Corn Dogs. Here's the 3-1. He hits one over the head of the shortstop, but he knocked it down. This might be, he actually dropped the ball again. There's no play at second, and that play was all sorts of screwed up, I guess, in a way to say it. I'm not sure how else to describe it. He knocked down the ball, then he couldn't pick up the ball again. He was going to go to the third, and when he relayed it to second, he then realized that Jaden Cummings wasn't covering the bag. That will go down as a fielder's choice and an E6, I would say. And the Corn Dogs have the bases loaded.
Did Hansen actually score in the last inning? Or was that the final out? So he did not score?
Matulich coming up. He can add on a couple more RBIs. That is low, 1-0. A hit from Matulich could end the game and give him 6 RBIs, which, according to my records, would be the most RBIs by a Corn Dogs hitter this year, as that was 6 RBIs by Roman Kuntz. And also tied the most, and it's a hit in the left field, base hit in front of Williams. Williams going to fire. He just let this eat. He's going to sail to the backstop. Small scores, and that's going to be a 2 RBI single for Hayden Matulich. And the Corn Dogs are up 11-1, and we'll see if the American Giants want to end it here. It doesn't look like it. It looks like they want to keep playing ball. Schultz and Small score. That was an impressive throw from Josh Small. I have to give him credit. That ball went a long way at a really nice velocity, and Hayden Matulich, that hit there, may have just wrapped up his player of the game. 3 for 4 with a run scored and 6 RBIs. That ties the most by a hitter in the Northern League this year by Kyle Fenner of the Vikings and, of course, Roman Kuntz. Ball 1 to Scott Hansen. As Roman Kuntz, that 3 home run game broke a lot of records for the game highs this year. 3 home runs, which we mentioned, his 3 home runs as an individual has been more than most teams in a single game. Total bases, he had 12, so 4 bases for the 3 home runs. Hansen takes a ball, 2-0. And then, of course, he tied the 6 RBIs. That was the first time I've ever seen a player hit 3 home runs in person. I've seen a no-hitter. I've seen a cycle. I have not yet seen a perfect game or a 4 home run game. Hansen swings over a pitch. It is 2-1. We'll say my favorite player when I was growing up hit 4 home runs in one game, which coincidentally was against one of my favorite pitchers. You go back to Josh Hamilton. I would say that was 2012 or 2013 when he did this. He was with the Texas Rangers and facing off against Jake Arrieta and the Baltimore Orioles. Hansen takes a breaking ball that spins down low, 3-1. And he hit 2 home runs off of Arrieta, and then 2 more later in the game. And coincidentally, all 4 home runs were 2-run blasts. And he finished the game with 8 RBIs. And I think he's the last hitter to have 4 home runs in a game. Hansen lifts one in the center. Williams going back. This could serve as a sacrifice fly. Mathias coming towards the plate. Williams will go to third. That would allow Mathias to cross the plate. Corn Dogs up 12-1. I'm going to be checked to see if that is the most recent 4 home run game. I think it's right. I know Willie Mays has done it. Mike Schmidt did it. And then, of course, you have some other ones in there. I know some players have gotten very close. Scooter Gennett, of course. How did I forget about Scooter Gennett? That was 2017 when he did that. Did it say what team they were playing when he did that? Was that in maybe Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh didn't have a good pitching staff in 2017. 1 ball, no strikes to Terry. I remember Scooter Gennett. He was a very good left-handed hitter, and I think he was even giving lessons to players over social media. It was against the Cardinals. So I was right in the ballpark of NL Central teams. And that one misses wide, 2-0 to Terry. Terry with 2 doubles and a hit by pitch and a run scored. Finished my record at Oil City at 2-1 and beat the Bork. It's yesterday's question. I'll see if Mags can get it. Oh, J.D. Martinez had a 4 home run game. That was against the Dodgers when he was in his half season with the Diamondbacks. 2-1, and then he signed the contract, and now with the Boston Red Sox. That was in the 2018 season when he went to Boston, and then Boston went on to win the World Series against the Dodgers. So is that the most recent one? Yeah, so J.D. Martinez. So I was off, but off by 2, Gennett and Martinez. There's a ground ball hit to the right. Kazia will take it over to first base and kick the cushion, and that will move Matt Tilich up to third, and there are 2 away. 2 for 3 night for Gavin Terry. Oh, actually, that's 2 for 4 night. 2 for 4. And that will send up Jaden Deal. The trivia question I was asked yesterday, I'm going to see if Mags can get this off mic. Which player has the most multi-home run All-Star games? No, that Barry Bonds. I'll give you a hint. It's his godfather. Jaden Deal, left center field. Williams going to his right, but it's glad that will move in and make the play. As we go into the 8th inning, we'll see if that's the game. It does not appear to be. It seems as though both teams want to keep playing, and that's exactly what we were hoping for. Mags, we'll give you some time going into the 8th inning to think about that player. It's the Corn Dogs 12 and the American Giants 1 after the Corn Dogs tacked on 3 more runs. Don't go anywhere. Top of the 8th, Matusak on the mound against Zach Leslie, going for his second inning of work. And the Corn Dogs looking for a new franchise record of strikeouts as a team. The 2 strikeouts in the 7th put the Corn Dogs in striking distance. They are sitting at 18. The franchise high is 19. And a broken bat, the barrel goes flying to the mound. It's Colin Small, who's away from the shrapnel, will throw out Leslie at first base. And then Matusak, almost Roger Clemens style, throws the barrel towards the American Giants dugout. I don't think Mike Piazza's running up the line, but if case, we may have another situation of the 2000, and that would have been the year 2000 World Series, if I stand corrected, which the Yankees defeated the Mets in the Subway World Series. Castillo takes one low, ball 1. Some people don't know this, but that's not the only inner-city World Series. The Cubs and the White Sox played each other in the 1906 World Series, so 116 years ago, in which the White Sox defeated the Cubs. And then the Cubs would go on to win the next 2, and then go on that, of course, 108-year drought. But who's counting? 1-1 to Gazillo with 1 out. 12-1 Corn Dogs. And there's a curved ball that missed. 2-1. I want to take another peek at what's going on in Whiting today. It is 6-4 Oilman on the Generals. 2-1 pitch. This is lifted left center field. Is hit hard. Hansen is racing after it. He has a beat, and he makes a great play. Wow. Scotty Hansen. He goes all the way to his left, and he catches the ball, then falls down. It's just the only way it seems as though he could stop himself as he was full-on sprinting to catch that baseball, and that is a loud second out. And Dylan Matusak can breathe a little bit easier knowing that that wasn't extra bases. But the last time I checked, there's no such thing as a 11-run homer with a guy on base. So the Corn Dogs are okay in that department. Pitch the horn. And that missed. 2-0. That's the one thing I've been disappointed about, where that's been not fun, is that you can hear the Oilmen talk about their history, because they've been a franchise for 10 years in this league. It's their 11th year as a franchise. 2-1 after the cut and the miss. So they can always go back and talk about what happened in that day in history. This is the Corn Dogs' first year. They don't have that. We won't have that until next year where you can say that. That's high, 3-1. That's always been the fun part. You look back what happened in MLB history. I'm just going to see what happened in baseball history today. 3-1 is fouled straight back, and it is 3-2. 3-2, 2 outs. May have to wait for this segment in the bottom of the 8th inning as Matusak goes into his windup and delivers the payoff pitch. And that's strike 3. Corn Dogs, 19 strikeouts. Ties a franchise record as Matusak sits down the American Giants 1-2-3, as we'll go to the bottom of the 8th with the Corn Dogs up 11 runs. And you're watching your Lake County Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, we have some defensive changes to announce. Let's try to see if we can get them all. There is one question mark, and Nanfeld's up to bat. But the changes is Carter is now pitching. He was at short. Drew Horn goes from third to short. Gazio goes from first to third. Gladden goes from left to first. So someone is playing left field, and we're not sure who it is. We'll have to see if we can get his number if he ever turns around. 1 ball, 2 strikes between Carter and Nanfelt. As Nanfelt fouls one into the glove, and he strikes out against Carter. This is Carter's first appearance as a pitcher this year, as the American Giants have tossed up a position player. As the Corn Dogs typically will enforce a 10-run rule, but the crowd tonight, I'm assuming that's why they're continuing to play, so the crowd can sit for all 9 innings. Corral's now up. Pitch from Carter. That's up and away, 1-0. And this day in baseball history, this is a good one. We were talking about this in between breaks. Babe Ruth, all the way back in 1921, so 101 years ago, he had a home run off of Cleveland's Jim Bagby in the 3rd inning, in which the Indians won the game 8-6. That was his 120th home run. Think about that, 120 home runs. He's just been in the league for a few years. I want to say his rookie year was 1918. Corral fouls one straight back. That might be right. I think maybe it was 1916. But anyway, if he broke it in 1921, he played until 1935. So as Mags mentioned off air, Babe Ruth hit every home run he hit after that was a record breaker, as he went on to hit 762 home runs during the duration of his illustrious career, and still argued as the greatest baseball player of all time. But maybe an all-around player. That title, I think, goes to Willie Mays. But in terms of revolutionizing the game and the way it's played, you have to look at the Babe. The pitch from Carter. Corral hits one to the right, and it's another foul ball. Keeps fighting them off. And of course, Babe Ruth played for 3 teams in his career and actually coached one. And that is an eephus. That is ball 3. He played for the Red Sox, which they had signed him from the then minor league team, Baltimore Orioles. Then played for the Yankees, which everyone knows him for. The Boston Braves to conclude his career. And Corral strikes out. Wow. Joshua Carter goes to the eephus, and he has struck out 2 since coming out of the pen. But some people don't know this. After he played for the Braves to conclude his career, Babe Ruth actually coached the Brooklyn Dodgers. And if we're going to talk about players that don't look right wearing certain uniforms, Babe Ruth in a Dodgers uniform is extremely odd. I can think of numerous players that are like that because of baseball, where they're more loose about trading and allowing players to walk in free agency. Foul ball from Schultz. One of my favorite ones is Pete Rose on the Expos. Never would have thought him. There's him in his Dodgers uniform, pulled it up. It just does not look right. Red Sox and Yankees you get away with, but not the Dodgers. Frank Thomas, I would go with the Blue Jays and A's. That's off the plate, 1-1. Ken Griffey Jr. is a really good one. Jr. in his half season with the Chicago White Sox. Would you ever look at the MLB 17, the show cover, where Griffey graced it for the show that year? This is an opposite field fly ball, which we ran down by Trey Walker, and we will continue that conversation going into the 9th inning. Joshua Carter comes in, sits down the Corn Dogs 1-2-3. As we go to the 9th, the Corn Dogs 3 outs away from winning the ball game. They're up 12-1. It is the ninth, and the Corn Dogs have gotten here 3 outs away from winning the ball game. And let's tell you about the University of Chicago. They are proud to be the exclusive medical provider of your Lake County Corn Dogs. U Chicago Medicine is a leading community of physicians, researchers, and game changers that make a difference in your life. U Chicago Medicine at the forefront. U Chicago Medicine also sponsors the play of the game, and they sponsored and powered the home run from Hayden Mattelich. And yeah, and Mags off air, he's been my spotter tonight without Noel. He found the list of Hall of Famers that played for some quite odd teams. Foul ball 0-1. Brock Bevel in the game for Dylan Matusak. Corn Dogs 1 strikeout away from 20 as a team, which would be the most this season by a team and in franchise history. The 0-1, that's low, 1-1. One of them, I remember this one very distinctly because he just doesn't look right. This was Reggie Jackson, where he spent, I think it was just a season, just one full season with the Baltimore Orioles. And ball 2, of course, they know him for the A's because that was the A's that won the World Series. And then he got traded to Baltimore, swing and a miss, 2-2. As I just don't like Reggie Jackson in the Oriole orange. It just doesn't look right. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer with the A's. 2-2 from Bevel. And a swing and a miss. There it is. It's a new record. 20 strikeouts by the Lake County Corn Dogs. New franchise record and a new high on the season for this season. Go back to the top of the order with Trey Walker. So then Jackson, after the 76 season, would then go to the Yankees. And 77 is when they won. Well, I believe they may have lost that year. I know they had reached it to the World Series with Billy Martin as their manager for maybe the 4th time. Well, the first time out of the 4. And yes, that was the World Series. They won it 4-2 over the Dodgers. Here's the pitch. That's in the dirt, 1-2. Was that the year that Reggie also hit 3 home runs on 4 pitches against the Dodgers? Might have been right. Here comes the 1-2. And that's up and in, 2-2. Another one that I really like that's on there, because he only played a handful of games on this team. It was Mike Piazza, who is well connected to the Dodgers because he was drafted by the Dodgers as a friendly, and there's strikeout number 21. Backwards K by Walker. He has struck out 4 times tonight and 21 strikeouts for the Corn Dogs. But it was a favor by Mike Piazza's father, who was asking his friend Tommy Lasorda to draft his son, and he went in the 62nd round of the draft out of Miami-Dade College. And then he shocked everyone, had a really good career, and it was 1998. He got traded twice, once from the Dodgers to the Marlins, who was still Florida, and then, of course, then traded to the Mets, where everyone knows him from. But they may not know this either. He finished his career playing with the Padres and the A's. The A's have really been on that list a lot, on guys that somehow made it to Oakland in the back half of their career. Fly ball right field. This could do it. Colin Small is going out, and he's there. He secures it with 2 hands, and this ball game is over. And the Corn Dogs blow out the American Giants by a final score of 12-1 and improve to 27-9. The magic number for a playoff spot is 3, and a magic number for a regular season championship in the first year of the team is down to 9. If you tune in for the entire game, caps off to you. You had a fun one if you're a Corn Dogs fan. We know you're happy with the result. They won it 12-1. We will now tally up the totals, and when we come back, it will be a post-game show, and don't go anywhere. We will have a post-game interviews with manager Kyle Hallberg and the Macron player of the game, Hayden Mattelich. Again, final score, Corn Dogs 12, American Giants 1. Welcome back. It's the Corn Dogs post-game show as the Corn Dogs strike out 21 hitters tonight for a new franchise record, and they won this game by a final score of 12-1. As the only run that was scored by the American Giants came in the first inning, and they did not get a hit for the rest of the game. It was 3 hits in that first inning that allowed them to score. After that, just zeros across the board. So it's a 1-run, 3-hit performance with 21 strikeouts by the Corn Dogs pitching to give them their 27th win on the year. The Corn Dogs scored 12 runs off of 14 hits and only 2 errors committed by the American Giants tonight. The winning pitcher is Jacob Bassa, and Jaden Jones will be charged with the loss. Take a quick look at the score of the Generals and Oilmen before we sign off for tonight's game. Gotta hit the refresh button, and it still says 3-2, so I know that's not right. But the last time I checked, the Oilmen were winning the game. But for the Corn Dogs, they finished this game after playing it from 6:56 to 10:11. So it was a quicker game tonight due to the good offense by the Corn Dogs. They drove in a lot of runs on some big hits. Your Macrom player of the game is Hayden Matulich. His final line score goes 3 for 4 tonight with a home run and 6 RBIs. He scored 1 time because of his long ball. It was his second on the year, as he had some big hits to give the Corn Dogs the big lead and walk away with the win tonight. We will be having a break this weekend and then a doubleheader in Carroll Streams on Monday, as the Corn Dogs will take on the red-hot Joliet Generals. The first pitch is scheduled for 4 o'clock, and then there will be a game at 7 o'clock at Lee Fun Stadium out in Carroll Streams, Illinois. Well, we had a fun time with you tonight. I know you like the result. The Corn Dogs win it by a final score of 12-1. I'm Andrew Mild, wishing you a good rest of your night. We'll see you Monday from Joliet, Illinois.